Good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, and welcome to Pit Road Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's absolutely fantastic to have you here yet again for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be here for round 3. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic evening of entertainment. We're going to have the CCRs and GT4s going first off, ladies and gentlemen, around the beautiful track that is indeed Misano, ladies and gentlemen. Misano World Circuit, indeed Marco Simoncelli, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, that's definitely the first time I've ever read that aloud, but certainly it's going to be an absolute belter of a circuit. And indeed, we're going to be trying to steal, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Cairo ends very shortly as well. But I got to say, absolutely fantastic stuff, ladies and gentlemen, to be back here with Podium 1, as indeed you have the pleasure of joining for just me right now. But indeed, we are going to be in for an absolute belter. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look here at this wonderful track. As you can see here, a couple of the guys are out doing some laps. Qualifying is currently underway, but in the meantime, let's take a look here at how the championship standings are going so far. As you see there in the TCRs, absolutely incredibly close. Ladies and gentlemen, just 1 point between them. It's Michael Pacheco leading the charge with Drew Martin right behind with just 1 point between them. Again, absolutely incredible competition, ladies and gentlemen. Further back, though, we got Andrew Garov. He's going to be there, and he's going to be there in third place, ladies and gentlemen, with 144 points. With CJ Conklin there in fourth, and rounding out your top 5, it's going to be Javi Sierra. Taking a look here at the GT4 points. Incredible stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, as Amrit Pastrana is currently leading the charge, again, by only 1 point. Incredible stuff, ladies and gentlemen, with Pierce Fox in second and Maxwell Budd there in third. What an absolutely phenomenal battle here we have going, not just in one championship, in 2 championships, ladies and gentlemen, in 4 championships. We're going to have the GT3 and indeed the GTD Pro race coming straight on after this. You're in for 2¼ hours of entertainment. As ladies and gentlemen, Cairo Ends has just made his appearance here for the first time ever in the Pit Road Productions booth. Cairo, can we get a mic check?
How's this for you, Zippy?
Oh, that is perfect. So definitely good to have you here and on board. By all means, take a look there. You see I'm sharing live. You want to click that and then you'll be able to see exactly what is going on the production feed. But indeed, what an absolute bounce. Now, Cairo, I don't know if you've ever driven this track yourself. Certainly myself, I've never been to Misano. Is it a venue that you've been to as well?
No, this would be a brand new one for me. I was actually just about to head over and take a look at the track map and take a look at what's going on here.
Well, absolutely fantastic stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we are flying blind, but before we get into that, let's take a look here, indeed, where they've gone, and indeed, where they're going. So we started round one off at Sebring before heading to Detroit Belle Isle for round 2. Misano, that's where we're going to be for round 3 with Imola. Absolute princess-approved track there for round 4. Round 5, almost the halfway point of the season, will take us to Long Beach before heading over to the second half, ladies and gentlemen, of Daytona. An absolutely iconic venue. Indeed, we just had the Daytona 24, both real life and in iRacing. Road Atlanta, my personal favorite for round 7, with Adelaide, the Aussie track for round 8, Miami for round 9, and indeed Indianapolis, ladies and gentlemen, for round 10. But ladies and gentlemen, we should definitely give a huge warm welcome to Cairo Ends. Cairo, if you just bear with me a second here, I'm going to give you access so we can get you, so you can indeed see what you need to see, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I'm going to tag you in the chat here, Cairo, and just give you a little hint in that chat if you can see that now. By all means, it's going to be an absolute belter. But qualifying is going to be getting shortly finished. 15 minutes of qualifying. But in the meantime, though, let's take a look here with an on-road lap very shortly with the one and only Mr. Doug Sorrentino. Now, don't get me wrong, definitely not a venue I am familiar with, ladies and gentlemen, but indeed, another thing we have to mention is we do have the driver cams going today. So keep your eyes peeled, ladies and gentlemen. A bit later on, you will indeed be seeing the faces of some of the people here at Podium 1. I can see that Chris Schusler has decided to join us today. We've got Michael Pacheco and indeed Tommy Polte. Great to see him back as well. Absolute legend of a man indeed. And definitely, I can't remember exactly what he does, but I remember it being very, very interesting indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly an absolute belter. But you can see here so far, we are going to be getting ready very shortly. Currently, Doug Sorrentino leading the charge here in the GT4s, but it gets a little bit closer the further down you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Pierce Fox and Amrit Pastrana separated by just 0.05 of a second.
Okay.
Well, absolutely.
We'll see if I can find something to say.
Attaboy, Cairo Rance, ladies and gentlemen, debut in the booth, jumped in at the very last minute, and usually you're used to seeing him absolutely going rampant in a spec racer Ford on another one of the series we have here. It's actually sponsored by Podium 1, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to go faster, you need to check out the Almeida Academy. But let's go here on board. As I say that is the end of qualifying. Absolutely incredible stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I do have to wonder, a couple of the TCR cars there actually going quicker than the GT4. That could be very, very interesting indeed. But Cairo, certainly you've been a man who's been rid out in the grid, but guess what? You're going to get to do part of one in just a few short moments. Certainly Reese Gardner currently MIA. We will hope that he is feeling all right. Definitely has phenomenal attendance actually, and indeed does give us a heads up, so hopefully everything is all going well for our Australian counterpart. And indeed, if he does appear, we will roast him until the end of the show, and indeed in future shows as well. But Cairo, it's definitely it's a pleasure having you in the booth. Tell us a little bit about your background here in the sim racing world.
Well, it got started a little over a year ago. My wife actually got me into the sim racing scene with a gift of a G920. So that was a big jump for me. And then, yeah, very shortly afterwards, I hopped into the Almeida Racing Academy. I was finding that the racing in iRacing was a little bit too over the top for me. And yeah, it just kind of blew up from there. I joined the league as soon as I could, and it's just been a blast ever since.
Oh, definitely. I can vouch for Cairo's driving skills, ladies and gentlemen. He's quicker than me. He's been doing it for a year. I've been doing it for 6 years, and this guy will pretty much eat me for breakfast, spit me out, and then laugh at what was left of my lap time, ladies and gentlemen. He is that quick. Indeed, a successful student of the Almeida Racing Academy, actually currently leading the Club Class Championship in Split 1 as well. But we are still waiting for the grid just to tick over, ladies and gentlemen. It's not there just yet. There we go. Indeed, magic happens. And here we go. I'll do the first 12. You do the next, as we do indeed get this grid ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Doc Sorrentino, he's going to take the lead in the 69 car with Maxwell Budd alongside in second. Pierce Fox will be in third with Amrit Pastrana in fourth. Dustin Warren takes fifth with Joshua Travis in sixth. Sean Phillips is there in seventh with Jack Minter, former Am champion, there in eighth. Chris Schusler, we got him on driver cam, as do we have the driver alongside him, Tommy Polte, in 10th. Further back in 11th, actually, we'll do it like this. Cairo, do the honors, as indeed the TCRs and the GT4s have been split for the grid.
Looks like in P11 we have Javi Sierra, and right beside him is Jason Bush. And then row behind them is Andrew Grove in 13th place with Michael Pacheco in 14th. Quinn Manders behind, and Drew Martin alongside him. Scott Laurenti, in P17, and Zeke Soder right beside him, and taking up the caboose of the field is CJ Conklin.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have definitely got to give a shout out to our friend Cairo here, doing everything he can to help us out here on Pit Road Productions. Definitely, if you've ever been a regular on the show and I get caught short, by all means, you may be asked to come into the booth, and certainly Cairo, definitely a bit of a surprise for you. There's not too many people in the Academy who can say they've had the pleasure of that. A couple of them, actually. Certainly Robert Covey, who I'm sure you would have raced with before, but definitely going to be interesting here. It's a new circuit to me. It's a new circuit to you, and indeed, it's one of the newest series here on Pit Road Productions. Don't get me wrong, these guys ran GT3 last season, ladies and gentlemen, and the season before, but this season, ladies and gentlemen, a huge upgrade for 2026. Not running just one race, but two races back to back. We're going to have half an hour here for the TCRs and the GT4s, followed by a 40-minute race for the GT3s, in which case there'll be two classes, GTD Pro and GTD, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely phenomenal stuff, as Doc Sorrentino is going to get ready to pull us away.
Right. Yeah, actually, I raced with these guys last season, and there's some very tough racers out there. A lot of very good, very close racing. We raced all the GT3 last season. It's great to see more of the classes out on the field. And yeah, we'll see how everybody makes it this track.
But what I can tell you, Cairo, is we do already have a cheerleading section going on. We've got Steve 15 saying, please Amrit. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the driver of the number 88 car, the Ford Mustang, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly one of the newer GT4s to the field, and indeed definitely not one I've had the pleasure of driving yet myself. I've always been a big fan of the Cayman, I did like the original BMW GT4, apart from the brakes, ladies and gentlemen. They honestly felt like they were made of wood. But Cairo, yourself, have you had much experience here in the GT4 class?
I actually do. I actually started with the Mercedes. I joined the Nürburgring 24-hour last year in the Mercedes. It seems to be a very stable, very beginner-friendly car. Since then, I've noticed the Mustang came into the field. I took a look at that one a couple of months ago and raced a couple of races with it, and I must say that thing is a lot of fun. The other on my list, though, is definitely the Porsche. The Porsche feels very good at just about everywhere. And I don't know, I'm just a bit bored with the BMW, so I don't even look at that one anymore.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, there is only one BMW GT4 in the field. This one's going to be driven by Joshua Travis. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an absence, though, indeed, of the McLaren. These guys are, I'd say they're going for a photo opportunity here. We've got almost four wide there. There's a couple of drivers trying to get a little bit of heat there in the tyres, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a quick peek back here at the DCR field, ladies and gentlemen. If you ever wondered as well, these cars very underrated in the sim, honestly. If you want to have good wheel-to-wheel racing, these are some of the fantastic choices to do so. Not only that, you got the Honda, the Audi, and indeed two different Hyundais to choose from, the Veloster and indeed the Elantra as well, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly myself, a little bit of experience in both the Hyundai Elantra and indeed the Audi, which was the first TCR car that iRacing got. But the reason I've driven the Elantra, ladies and gentlemen, Swelly Almeida, definitely had a good bit of fun there. Indeed, I've definitely I've hit quota, ladies and gentlemen, for promoting that guy, and we will indeed read out the sponsors a little bit later on, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly it's been a busy show and been a little bit of a different show as well, as we got a call out for a paint. Let me see if I can fix that for you there, sir. Certainly Trading Paints, known to be the most unreliable piece of gear in iRacing, ladies and gentlemen, as we are going to try and refresh those, as it looks like we're going to be getting ready to go underway. Ladies and gentlemen, the pace car has gone in, and Doug Sorrentino is going to take us off here for the GT4 field. And already you can see side by side, it's Maxwell Bird and indeed Pierce Fox as they make their way down towards turn one. More battles happening further back in the field as well. A little bit of a dive there, a little bit of ambition there further back. Let's go and check in here with the TCR field, as Javi Sierra has absolutely put his foot to the floor and given it some more. And you can see battles further back. That looks like the Audi there of Quinn Manders trying to make a move up on the inside there of Drew Martin as they go and make their way around turn one.
Yeah, it certainly looks like the TCRs are taking it a little bit more tame than the GT4s at the moment. I think it seems like they're probably just settling in, getting ready for the long haul. There's going to be a lot tougher battling later on.
Well, definitely it is indeed a 30-minute race, Skyro, and indeed, look at the move from the Mustang. I don't know if that was a move or more necessarily a little bit of misbraking there. Amrit Vestrala catching himself off guard there, and in the process has dropped back about 1.2 seconds from Pierce Fox, and now finding himself under pressure from Maxwell Budd in that Mercedes, the 008, getting incredibly close there. As you can see, the pack almost accordioning up behind him. Pierce Fox, meanwhile, able to try and concentrate on Sorrentino ahead in the 69 car, but further back in the TCR field, Javi Sierra, he had a bit of a lead early on, but don't get me wrong, Jason Bush applying a good amount of pressure there. 3,331 I rating against 1,390, and I gotta say, Jason Bush doing an absolutely phenomenal job to stay there, win context.
Yeah, phenomenal driving by all these drivers in lap one. Good to see that there's no big contacts. That Mustang definitely looked like he was into the ABS a little harder than he wanted to be. Again, cold tires. These cars just got new tire model quite recently, and it's a bit to get used to. But yeah, definitely looking like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, definitely is indeed, as we got this driver here who does, I believe, at times have the driver camera on, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Andrew Guerrero, but good to see him indeed, as you can see there in the Honda, ladies and gentlemen. I think it was him who got a bit of a giggle there with the he just hit VTEC Pro last time round, but certainly he's certainly chasing down Michael Pacheco, as Quinn Manders there being issued a slowdown flag, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be very costly and could potentially bring Zeke Suter into the mix, as you see Scott Laurentini there thinking about making a move going around turn one.
Yeah, just making a little bit of a peek up the inside there. Not sure if he was really going to be going for something. Probably just filling mirrors is what it looks like to me.
Well, definitely there is more than one way to pass your opponent, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly keeping them occupied is one way of doing it, but it looks like something has happened here with Sean Phillips. Let's take a quick look at the replay and find out exactly what went on. See the Mustang here, the 49 of Sean Phillips gets a little bit of cold tires, a little bit of traction loss, and indeed ends up doing a little bit of a ballerina move there. Thankfully able to keep that Mustang away from the wall.
Yeah, once that thing starts to go sideways, it's pretty hard to catch. Little tip for all you GT4 drivers out there, don't turn into the turn with it. Understeer those front tires, it'll slide the car out, stabilize everything real good for you. Get off the throttle, and you'll be good to go.
Oh, here we can see one of our driver cams, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Schuessler is appearing on the camera on this occasion, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he's in the GT4 field, but don't get me wrong, he is having fun with the TCRs right now, so fair play to him. Definitely good to have him on the camera. But let's have a look further back as we've got side by side here. It's Honda versus Honda. It's Andrew Garreau versus Drew Martin as these guys go side by side yet again. And look at that there. Andrew Garreau able to get the inside. Drew Martin, however, having to apply all of the pressure as yet again these guys go side by side. Absolutely fantastic stuff here at Misano.
Drew Martin is definitely not giving an inch right there. He wants every little bit of track space he can get, and he's pushing all that he's got. Andrew Grove doing a very good job of hanging it around. Very good side-by-side action with these two.
Well, certainly the TCRs do indeed promote absolutely phenomenal racing. I do believe that we should have it next in a certain league as well. It would be a good change of pace, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly one of the cars often underappreciated. As I say that, Drew Martin there getting a little bit too flirtatious with the track limits, and he has picked up a slowdown as well. That could potentially catapult his battle there with the 05 car of Andrew Grubb. As you see him there, starting to pull away. The gap now up to a second. Further up, though, in the field of the GT4, you can see that Doug Sorrentino has not been able to shake off the number 24 of Pierce Fox.
Yeah, it looks like the racing is staying very close. People are following very nicely on their lines through all the quarters here. It seems like a few of these drivers are in it a bit more for the longer haul, sticking in the draft, not battling too hard, but they're keeping it close, keeping everybody honest.
Oh, indeed, you can see there the pressure being applied as Pierce Fox trying to go as late on the brakes as he possibly can. The AMG, a very neutral, very balanced kind of car there, as you see, incredibly close, ladies and gentlemen. Milk Mocha Bear, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe that is some kind of exotic drink or indeed some kind of toy there, as Doug Sorrentino as well getting very, very, very close to those track limits there. Both of these drivers really trying to push the limit, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed they make their way around for the start of lap 4.
Yeah, 25 more minutes left to go in this race. There's still a lot that can happen. This battle up at front here with Fox and Sorrentino is looking very good. Hoping to see that this Porsche making some good moves on through the corners and catches up and keeps Sorrentino honest. And yeah, it'll be a lot of really good battling in just a few short corners here.
Well, absolutely, indeed. As you can see there, Pierce Fox is definitely applying all the pressure. We're not going to get any pit stops during this race as Happy Sierra has just set the fastest lap, ladies and gentlemen, in the TCR field. But let's find out exactly what happened to Jack Minter on the first lap of this race. See there in the 325 car, that Cayman GT4, the Rexy-inspired livery just gets a little bit loose there. Chris Schuessler able to avoid, as does the other GT4. A little bit unfortunate, but don't get me wrong, still able to keep that car rolling as you see the TCR field now coming, and in which case he had to sit back and wait for the rest of the field to go by.
Very good maneuvering by Schuessler there. That's a very difficult car to get around. Yeah, it was really difficult for him, I'm sure, to see exactly which way that Porsche was going to be moving, and it looks like he made the right call.
Definitely did indeed. As you can see there, Javi Sierra now, he's not content with just having to go here at the TCR stage, John. He's managed to pull away about a 3-second gap, 2.5-second gap there to Jason Bush. But right now, Tommy Pulte is going to find himself under a bit of pressure as well. Meanwhile, further up in the GT4 field, it looks like Amrit Pastrana now is going to be getting a bit of pressure here from Maxwell Budd.
A little bit more than just a little bit of pressure. He's making a move. He's going around the outside and holding it, and no, he couldn't quite make it around. He's holding on for the next corner. It's probably going to make another move here on the 88 in just a moment. Looking up the inside just a little bit, filling some mirrors. Nope, not going to go for it this time around. Looks like he's probably just going to be setting up for a move a little bit later.
Well, he is indeed applying all of the pressure. You can see there, them beautiful decal sets, courtesy of the League Adams, ladies and gentlemen. We are indeed watching the Podium GT4 class racing right now. You see the Mustang, again, all of these drivers having to really get very, very exaggerated there on the green asphalt to the side of the track. Certainly, you've got to be able to know the track limits, as we've seen quite a few drivers so far picking up a couple of slowdowns, and indeed the battle is continuing here. We've got the battle for first starting to emerge as well. Pierce Fox still very much applying the pressure Further back though, Sean Phillips looking to try and make a recovery here and make his way past Scott Laurenti in that TCR.
Yeah, it certainly looks like all of our drivers are pairing up and getting ready to do a little two-step with each other, and it's looking like a lot of good battling is going on. No real big clusters of cars going on anywhere, but yeah, a lot of good tight battles all across the field.
Oh, indeed, and I think this is going to be the one to watch, ladies and gentlemen. Pierce Fox has been onto the back of that Mercedes the entire race so far. He started in third, ladies and gentlemen, managed to make the move on Amrit Pastrana at the start of this race, and indeed has kept Doug Sorrentino very, very honest indeed, pushing the car out as wide as it can go. And look at that, absolutely gaining there in the exit, but then once the corner exit gets there, Doug Sorrentino absolutely able to step on the gas, and indeed the Mercedes able to stretch his legs there as it makes its way towards the left-hander.
Coming around again for another lap. It looks like the Porsche is going to be lagging behind that Mercedes just a little bit. It's probably just going to be holding on and getting ready to make a move a little bit later. Yeah, dropped back just a little bit, but there's not much else he can do at this point.
Indeed, the battles do indeed continue as Scott Laurentini has a new challenger, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he has got Sean Phillips just ahead, but further up in the field, though, Amrit Pastrana still getting a bit of pressure here from Maxwell Budd. It's going to be another Mustang versus Mercedes, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, the Mercedes seems to be the most popular choice here of the GT4. Second only to the Porsche, ladies and gentlemen. 2 Mercedes and 3 Porsches. And ladies and gentlemen, if indeed you do want to take part in this league, by all means, let us know. We will happily get you pointed in the right direction. You can race not just in the GT4s, not just in the TCRs, but indeed the GT3 race is going to be coming straight after this.
Yeah, with the battling that's been going on, you'd think that there's more Mercedes on the field than there are Porsches at this moment. But yeah, we actually have more Porsches in the GT4 class at this in this race. It's great to see the Mercedes doing such a strong job, and it looks like the Porsches are basically all down to driver skill at this point. There's Porsches all throughout the field from 2nd all the way down to 10th.
Oh, indeed, definitely a variety here, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see there, Jack Minter still trying to make a recovery there from that incident earlier on. Like, what is that? So absolutely catastrophic move there from Pierce Box. You see Amrit Pastrana and Maxwell Budd make their way by, and indeed Dustin Warren is about 11 seconds back. He's going to have to work hard, try and get that recovery. But let's find out exactly what happened there. End up with a little bit of over-rotation. See there, just as he goes and puts the car in. Gets oh, that'll do it. A little bit of a nudge there on the back of Doug Sorrentino. The iRacing physics, not a fan. And sadly, that ends up spinning him around and pushing him back down to 4th place. Definitely a little bit unfortunate there. Meanwhile, though, Amrit Pastrana still very much under pressure here from Maxwell Budd.
Yeah, these cars, whenever you're on the brakes and you touch somebody from behind just a little bit, it seems to just catch the road just that little bit harder and just throws the back end out. Great to see Maxwell Budd here making a move, trying to keep up with Amrit Pastrana. That Mustang is looking like it's a fast one, but the Mercedes is keeping pace pretty well.
Indeed, and certainly yourself got a bit of experience here in the Mercedes and indeed in the Mustang. Certainly comparing the two, the Mustang typically known for having a bit more straight line speed. What would you be able to say on that subject?
I think the Mustang might have marginally more straight line speed. It's tough to say. It's really track dependent. The one thing that the Mustang really has over the Mercedes, though, is rotation. That Mustang, that thing will rotate for days. You just hint at it just a little bit, and it'll give you all it's got. Whereas with the Mercedes, you kind of have to coax it along quite a ways.
Oh, definitely. That seems to be a little bit of coaxing in the favor there of Amrit Pastrana as Maxwell Budd dropping back about a second on that occasion. But it does look like something has happened here with Zeke Suter. You see there taking a exit out of the pits, ladies and gentlemen, and this isn't a pit race, so I'm not quite sure why he's ended up taking the scenic route. Let's go a little bit further back and find out exactly what happened. I have a feeling himself and Quinn Mendes may have come into an incident as, yep, there you go. That would be himself and Quinn. Definitely a little bit unfortunate there. Thankfully, both cars able to keep going.
I haven't actually driven the Civic yet, but from what I've heard, the front tires on that thing are pretty sensitive, so it makes sense that such a small tap would give him some steering damage. He's probably just in the pits trying to get that fixed up.
Well, indeed, is Zeke Suter there. As Scott Laurenti has indeed taken down pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, Quinn Manders looking to try and give Jack Minter a little bit of a run for his money. Don't get me wrong, as some venues we have to see in the TCR be incredibly similarly balanced in comparison to the GT4. Maybe a little bit of straight line speed. It's hard to really say, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, you wouldn't expect the front wheel drive to be quicker in the corners. But let's have a look here with Drew Martin, who's currently got Sean Phillips about 4 tenths of a second behind. It is indeed a GT4 versus a TCR as we enter about the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, you certainly wouldn't expect in a multi-class race that the air quotes slower class car would actually be faster, but those front wheel drive cars, once you get it just lined up perfectly, give it just the perfect amount of throttle, that front end will just bite and it'll hook you right through the corners. It's a bit trickier to do that in a rear wheel drive car.
Yeah, definitely the biggest thing with the front wheel drive TCRs, it can indeed be make sure you don't race the tires, indeed, as Cairo was saying, ladies and gentlemen. But meanwhile, let's check in here with your race leader, Doug Sorrentino. He's currently pulled away about a 2.5 second gap. However, on the last lap, Amrit Pastrana was 9 tenths of a second faster, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly at that pace, if he can keep doing 9 tenths of a second faster, with the next 3 laps, he should be right up behind Sorrentino and indeed chasing for the lead.
Yeah, at this point, it's all about hoping that Sorrentino gets a little bit too comfortable with where he's at right now and makes just a couple of really minor mistakes, nothing too major, just drop back a tenth or two per lap, and yeah, soon enough, Estrella will be right there with him.
As you can see here from the last couple of laps, Sorrentino definitely a little bit quicker there on lap 4, 1.5 seconds in it, ladies and gentlemen, but then the tables have indeed turned. Lap 5, Pastrana able to get a little bit back. Lap 6, he pretty much handed it back again, but Azid, lap 7, a bit quicker. So certainly a little bit of inconsistency between them, but currently we'll keep an eye on that. That could emerge to be a fantastic battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, as we check in elsewhere in the grid, Drew Martin now, certainly he's having a good race so far. Currently doing a 147.56 is his best lap time there in the TCR. Definitely not his best pace today, but don't get me wrong, pulling away from Quinn Manders, who's currently back there in 7th.
Yeah, you say a 47.6 isn't the best pace for the day, but honestly, I don't think I could be pulling off quite that kind of pace right now in the TCRs. I don't have that kind of experience. But yeah, making some very good moves. He's catching up to a Porsche GT4. Not sure what's happening with the car ahead there, but yeah, TCR is very quick, and the field's looking very strong today.
Well, indeed it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's try and check in here with some of our drivers, ladies and gentlemen, who indeed are on the driver cam. I can see a good couple in here. Quinn Manders is sadly not one of them, but let's go and check in here. And sadly, we don't have them available for an interview right now, but certainly this is your championship leader, if my memory serves me correctly, Michael Pacheco. And interesting thing for him, ladies and gentlemen, is he's actually running in VR. So fair play to him. You do you, but you can see here at the bottom of your screen, ladies and gentlemen, he is obviously a McLaren fan. And yet he's driving an Audi TCR. Certainly the McLaren GT4 would have been an available car for him, but don't get me wrong, he's been having an absolutely fantastic season so far, constantly on the podium, and indeed making that Audi work for him.
Yeah, fantastic look on Michael Pacheco here, matching up his orange McLaren shirt with the orange car, and yeah, it's a little interesting seeing a McLaren fan not in a McLaren, but if he's going to be in anything else, an Audi would be it.
Well, definitely a good choice of car, ladies and gentlemen, as he starts to run a little bit wide there. Thankfully, no slowdown, making his way there across the start-finish line with about 13 minutes left to go in this race. Let's check in and see who else we've got here on the driver cams, and Andrew Guerrero would be one of them, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to say, fair play here to Alex Saar. He's in the GT3 race a little bit later on, but Alex, if you are listening, you need to rotate your camera 90 degrees, sir. You're currently out of whack. Let's see if we can check in with Andrew here. He's currently about 1.5 seconds back, and on the last lap, he was indeed about a second quicker than Pacheco, so we could see him start to catch up and challenge for P3 in the TCR class very, very shortly.
Yeah, it's great to see all these drivers doing so well. It'd be great to have some tighter battles. They're starting to spread out a little bit here. I think the track time is starting to get to some of these drivers. It seems to be a bit much, and they're starting to get a little bit tired. But yeah, very interesting to see that there's some other drivers that are going to be joining in on the GT3s a little bit later. It's always a bit tricky jumping from one car into the next, especially if you're jumping from something like a TCR into a GT3. So it'll be very interesting to see how everybody performs in the GT3 race following this one.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're going to see even more close competitions. Michael Clark has now got his camera working as well. We're going to see him in the GT3s very shortly there as we see one of the GT4 cars. That's Sean Phillips, ladies and gentlemen, going to make his way past Andrew Garov. Now, don't get me wrong, Andrew has been catching up a little bit there to Michael Pacheco, but on the last lap, he had the advantage. Now, the question is he going to be able to get behind the toe here of Sean Phillips, potentially catapult him towards P3 in the into the TCR class?
Yeah, I'm sure he's probably just going to be following for just a very little bit, just hoping for that perfect opportunity, that perfect corner to get around that TCR, optimally get it on the exit, and just slingshot his way up the straight, and yeah, head on up to meet up with Tommy Polte.
Well, certainly Tommy Polte, good to see him back here, ladies and gentlemen. He's currently there in P7 overall. And indeed, he's on the driver cameras as well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give this man a bit of love. Definitely not had the most reliability with his camera, but indeed, he's back. He's there, and he's potent, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tommy Polte, looking like he's got some nice sim racing gloves on as well, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly have to find out where he got them from. As I believe he may have been listening to the broadcast just then. I just saw a little bit of a acknowledgement almost potentially as he's there making it around the right hander, really trying to push down on that Cayman. Indeed, this man is not just a road course driver, ladies and gentlemen. He's pretty handy at oval as well.
That's always something that's great to see is multidiscipline drivers. I've dabbled a little bit in some oval, a little bit of dirt racing, but something about road racing has just got me, and it's a bit harder for me to get into some of those other race types, but they're always fun. And yeah, it's great to see drivers that are able to make it all work.
Indeed, definitely a different set of skill sets with some of the other kinds of disciplines. Myself, actually quite fan of rallycross, ladies and gentlemen. I tend to be quite handy at that. Don't ask me how, but indeed, let's check in here with Javi Sierra, who's currently pulled away a stuttering 5.3 second lead there over Jason Bush. Sean Phillips starting to make his way further through here, and this could be a good opportunity here for Andrew Garov, because if Phillips chooses to pass Pacheco at the wrong moment, this could potentially back up the driver of the 25 car into the clutches of Andrew Garov, and indeed give us a battle here for P3 in the TCRs.
Yeah, multi-class racing is always very interesting when you start getting these battles tighter and tighter. Having the faster class getting in the way can often spell the difference between making a position or not, and it can spell the difference between saving the fuel that you need or having to add that extra 2-3 liters. We don't have any pit stops in this race, thankfully, but I'm sure a lot of these drivers will be thanking their lucky stars for that. Track is looking very good, a lot of very good pace from all these drivers, and yeah, it's great to see all the pace coming out of these cars, and hopefully we get a few more close battles towards the end here.
Yeah, I'm definitely hopefully so, but right now we've got to wonder why Dustin Warren has managed to pick up a black flag. Now, my best guess, currently I don't see any warnings for an off-track, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to say he has probably got a little bit too flirtatious with the track limits. The stewards have penalised him for it, and indeed he has not managed to serve that slowdown properly enough. So we're going to see here, it's likely going to be a drive-through penalty. Now, what is this going to mean for himself and indeed Joshua Travers? He's currently about 16.5 seconds back there in the only BMW in the field. Are we going to see him be able to potentially slingshot his way there into P5? It's looking quite promising, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, as Travis is making his way down to start finish. There you go. There goes Dustin Warren, and indeed Travis moves his way into P5.
Absolute heartbreak having to take that pit entry to serve the penalty. It's really rough when you're on on a track with such tight confines for the track limits. And yeah, I guess he was just getting a little too flirtatious with the limit there, and it bit him, and yeah, he paid the price.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Cairo ends certainly starting to pick up a few zippy sayings. Ladies and gentlemen, wish him the best of luck. And indeed, some of the stuff that comes out of my mouth, it's not all for a broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. But right now, you can see Michael Pacheco has indeed been passed by Sean Phillips, but not been able to get backed up there into Andrew Garov, who's currently running about 2.5 seconds back. On the last lap, he indeed was about 0.2 of a second slower there than... yeah, about 2.3 of a second there slower than Michael Pacheco. But as I say that, Sean Phillips has fallen back behind Pacheco. Let's take a look here and see how that went down.
Yeah, very interesting to see a GT4 actually ending up slower than a TCR car, but yeah, I guess the tires are probably just starting to come in and give the drivers a bit more to worry about. And oh, it looks like he's back up ahead. So there you go.
Well, indeed, you can see here, this is all good news here for Andrew Garreau. He's just managed to pick up about 3/10 of a second with these guys swapping and changing for position. Further back, his nearest rival is Drew Martin. He's about 6 seconds back, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, definitely some battles going on, but it looks like Piers Fox now has managed to pick up a black flag as well. Again, no off-track warnings, ladies and gentlemen. A few drivers getting caught out here for cutting the course.
Yeah, I'm wondering how many more black flags we're going to see before the end. We still have 7 more minutes, and a lot can happen in 7 minutes. At about almost 2 minutes a lap, that's looking at 4 laps left to go, so anything can happen.
Well, you can see Jake ends in the chat. Lots of ladies and gentlemen, just don't pick that one up, Cairo. We'll need more rum in the house if you do that. Fair play. Thank you for that, Jake. But fair play, as you see, that is indeed, that looked like Joshua Travis. No, I apologies, Maxwell, but there, making his way past one of the TCR cars. That is indeed, I believe, Scott Laurentini. Nope, it is Quinn Manders, ladies and gentlemen. Quinn Manders, still learning the couple of these cars here, but right now, Piers Fox, I'd say it's not just necessarily cutting the course. I think maybe incident points there. These guys must be picking up off-track warnings, and I'm going to say that's probably what's giving them the black flag here, as Piers Fox brings it down pit road. Now, I've got to wonder, is Joshua Travis going to get lucky twice in a row? This time round, it's 36 seconds back. I have a feeling it's going to be close, but I don't think it's going to be that close. Certainly himself able to get about a 3-second pull there on Dustin Warren, so I don't think he's going to be able to get enough of an advantage over Piers Fox to slingshot his way ahead, but I do believe the gap's going to become a lot closer.
Yeah, if my estimations are correct, I think it's roughly a 40-second entry to exit down the pit line here, so looks like he just might make it out ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, a good bit of math there, or you looking at the timing screen. I've got to say, you claim whichever one you want. Certainly, Joshua Travis still 30 seconds back, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Dustin Warren now starting to get a little bit closer. The gap down to about 2.4 seconds for the 5th place here in the GT4.
Yeah, everybody's doing a very good job of keeping it on the track, and yeah, hoping we're going to get a few more close battles here. We've got this Porsche coming up behind Joshua Travis here, and yeah, we'll see what he can make of it.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, definitely some good stuff indeed. We are going to have a look here for a bit more information in just a few short minutes. I know I've got a document to read. I've just got to find it, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely a little bit of a unorthodox approach today, but indeed Dustin Warren has managed to get even closer here. Joshua Travis could be under attack very shortly in that last lap alone. Dustin Warren able to take off 2 seconds here from the back of Joshua Travis. Now don't get me wrong, on paper Dustin Warren is quicker, but he's got just 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, 3 minutes, about 3.5 to try and find his way past the BMW of the 68.
Yeah, very interesting to see Joshua Travis dropping back as far as he is. It almost looks as though he's running out of fuel and he's fuel saving to reach the end. Not entirely sure exactly why he's falling back quite as hard as he is, but hopefully he can hold on to it and keep Dustin Warren behind.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We do have the sponsors to mention in a very few short moments as well. We definitely got to make sure we get on with that. But in the meantime, let's keep an eye here on this battle. Is Joshua Travis going to be able to hold off the mighty Porsche here of Dustin Warren? Indeed, he is the underdog in this scenario, but he's going to be able to hold on. Defensive driving is going to be key, ladies and gentlemen, as they make their way around the final corner, down the start-finish straight, and he's got to survive on for another couple of laps, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the battle for the GT4 5th place.
Yeah, Dustin Warren is making up a little bit of ground. He's about half a second back now, which is just in that sweet spot of the draft. And it looks like he's pretty eager for it. He's coming up the inside and he's taking it.
You can see there goes Dustin Warren, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this could be an opportunity here for Joshua Travis, because I do believe that's a bit of lap traffic ahead, ladies and gentlemen. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that may be Quinn Manders, if I'm not mistaken. It is indeed. So Quinn Manders is going to be in the middle of this battle very shortly. That's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. The TCRs do have to make a pit stop. I forgot. They do indeed have to make a pit stop. So Javi Sierra brings it down pit road. Michael Pacheco's in the pits, and Andrew Garov has just appeared ahead, albeit very briefly there, as Pacheco puts the foot to the floor and speeds out of pit lane. Jason Bush, meanwhile, has not yet made it down pit road. That's put him here in second place, ladies and gentlemen. Is he going to be able to hold on? He's been second for the majority of this race, but indeed, the race is not over yet. He has indeed already been down pit road and was about 2 seconds slower than Javi Sierra, who's out front.
Yeah, let's hope that Jason Bush has got enough fuel in the car to last in the rest of the race here. Hopefully he doesn't have to do too much fuel saving. And yeah, he is sitting about 17 seconds ahead of Michael Pacheco at the moment. And he's got Doug Sorrentino right behind him, so hopefully these two can keep it clean and Doug Sorrentino can get past without any issue.
Yeah, I've definitely seen it in some multi-class races before where it gets a little bit colourful. Should, the faster class try and make a pass, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly anybody who's done any official endurance race on iRacing can definitely sympathize to that. As Cairo, take a look at what I just sent you here on Discord. You're going to need that very, very shortly as Doug Sorrentino makes his way past the lap traffic TCR there of Jason Bush.
Yeah, it looks like a very clean pass. Everybody got through okay, and yeah, looks like it. Looks like Jason Bush is flashing the cameras here, saying hello to Zippy and myself.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, though, Doc Sorrentino, he's going to be seeing the end in sight, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting ever closer. You can see Jason Bush right behind him. Pulled away about a 4.4 second gap there to the Mustang of Amrit Pastrana. He's currently up 2 positions. The hard charger of the day, though, CJ Cochran, ladies and gentlemen, your league administrator. He's currently up 4 positions, so fair play to CJ. Definitely having a little bit of an adjustment there, getting used to the TCR cars. Indeed, any driver who gets in would find it's definitely a little bit different there. Chris Schuessler right behind him, but Doug Sorrentino there getting ready with maybe a white flag lap.
Yeah, it's not a big surprise to see CJ making good moves in the TCRs as he has. Yeah, like you said, the TCRs, they're a little bit of a handful to get into initially, but it seems like CJ's got a good grip of it and he's making some good headway.
Yeah, definitely myself a big fan of the TCRs. Having done a little bit of practice there with Swallow and indeed Connor Bell, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly had some good fun. Indeed, Kane Halliburton left the door open for Connor. He absolutely sailed by, I learned, and then resisted a Kane for a good couple of laps, and then took myself out over the nose of another car. It was going so well, and annoyingly, but humorously, Swallow said, "Oh, I can see chaos," and then, ta-da! It unfolded, ladies and gentlemen. So I am consistently consistent there on that avenue. But right now, Doug Sorrentino, he's led the race from the start, ladies and gentlemen, has showed absolute dominance there in that AMG Mercedes. He's managed to keep the car clean. Certainly a stop-and-go penalty or indeed a drive-through penalty could be quite detrimental right now should he pick that up and indeed give Amrit Pastrana the win. He's currently only about 3.3 seconds, 4.5 seconds back, ladies and gentlemen. Maximum Bud about 3.4 seconds behind in that AMG. But Doug Sorrentino, he's been pretty much unstoppable from the start. Had a good bit of a battle there with Pierce Fox, who's currently back there in PS4, in P4. Oh my gosh, P4, ladies and gentlemen, as Sorrentino now getting ready to bring it down the start-finish straight for the close of the opening race here at Misano.
Yeah, it's been a very good race from all of these drivers. Very good pace on everybody's part, and yeah, good clean racing. Haven't seen a whole lot of particularly large incidents, a couple small ones, but everybody's been doing very well today.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Amrit Pastrana takes second indeed. Maxwell Budd took third, but Pierce Fox definitely a little bit unfortunate there, having the not just the drive-through penalty, but indeed that little bit of a spin earlier on, which I believe was actually at that corner as well. Certainly we do sympathise. Let's go and check in here with Javi Sierra. He's going to be getting ready to take a TCR win here today at Misano.
Yeah, very good performance by Javi Sierra today. He's had very little to contend with. He's been at the front of the pack almost the entire race, and yeah, coming around the, I believe this is the final corner now to take the win.
Oh, definitely fantastic stuff here. Certainly myself and Cairo still learning the track of Misano, but I've got to say, it does look like a really nice track. It does remind me of Coda a little bit, actually, just with the curbing that is available. And definitely some really nice corners as well, some nice long sweeping corners. It doesn't seem like it feel like too much of a drag race as well, but definitely he's had an absolutely phenomenal race so far. A couple of drivers have indeed crossed the line already, indeed Jason Bush being one of them, but Javi Sierra looking to try and make it over the line, ladies and gentlemen. He is, well, pretty much this way. He's just got to bring it to the line in that Honda Civic, ladies and gentlemen, as he goes through the double right-hander. Obviously, Amazon getting in on the sponsorship for this one, the old AWS. And I have to admit, ordered something from Amazon myself earlier on, ladies and gentlemen. I need a Bluetooth adapter for my 2011 Volvo. Please forgive me for that. Certainly, if you're going to roast me, at least tell me what you're driving. But you see there, Javi Sierra in the Honda Civic makes his way around the final corner. I've got to say, absolute slam dunk for him. Does a phenomenal job. The Puerto Rican driver brings it there and across the line.
Very good performance by Javi Sierra today. Very good performance by Jason Bush and Michael Pacheco and, well, all these drivers, really. It's great to see everybody doing as well as they can. And yeah, Chris Schreusler coming in, and he's holding up the, well, taking up the back of the pack. I say pack, he's got a bit of a gap ahead of him, but yeah, once we can get Chris Schreusler and if there's any other cars left on track, then that'll be the end of this race.
Oh, I've got to say, fair play to Chris. His dedication is unwavering, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly the... I'd say of all the GT4s that came in, I'd say it's probably the most challenging one to drive. Certainly, if it does decide to snap out, it is the most challenging to catch. Certainly, Doug Sorrentino could probably weigh in on that as well in a few short moments. But fair play, Chris Schusler. He's got a nice set of sim racing gloves on. I've got to admit, actually, nice set of OMPs there as he brings it around. Thought he'd run out of fuel for a second there. Indeed, Team Schusler Racing definitely having a lot of fun there. And certainly Misano as well, one of the newer tracks here in the sim, as indeed he does bring it down pit road, ladies and gentlemen. Not quite sure on the logic there. Maybe he picked up a penalty, but certainly fair play to the guy. It looks like he has had a lot of fun. But we are going to be joined here with Doug Sorrentino in a few short minutes. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to do the results. As you can see here, Doug Sorrentino took the win in first with the GT4 class, with Amrit Estrella in second. Maxwell Bird took third with Pierce Fox in fourth. Dustin Warren in fifth, and then Joshua Travis took sixth with Tommy Portley in seventh. Sean Phillips, he took eighth with Javi Sierra coming ninth overall, and indeed Jason Bush 10th overall. Michael Pacheco took third in class as well for TCRs, with Andrew Grove in 12th overall and Drew Martin in 13th. Jack Minter, definitely an unfortunate spin earlier on, had him stuck there behind the TCR pack. He took 14th with Quinn Manders in 15th. Chris Schusler in 16th with CJ Conklin, your league admin, in 17th. Scott Laurentini, he took 18th with Zeke Suter in 19th, and then rounding out the field, ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed it, 19 cars. But Cairo, I understand you've been able to catch up here with Doug Sorrentino. Now, definitely the first time you've ever done an interview. So just think of the questions that we would ask you and then ask Doug.
Good to see your great performance here today, Doug. It looked like you had a little bit of competition at the start. Tell me what was going through your mind.
Yeah, what was going through my mind was just don't roast the tires in the first couple laps, and I was able to keep them in check throughout most of the race. The last couple laps got a little dicey, but we were able to push through to the end.
Indeed, a very good performance by you. And Zippy, remind me, where are we headed to next week?
That is a good question. You did put me on the spot, but it's all right. We're heading to Imola next week.
Ah, perfect, Imola. I've actually just been practicing at that track myself today, and it's a very fun track. Doug, tell me, what do you think about the race coming up next week at Imola?
Hopefully the conditions will be a little bit nicer compared to today, at least. It's still a relatively flat track, and with the lack of downforce, we're going to struggle again, right? So really puts the men from the boys, so to speak, with the handling and making sure those tires stay in check. But yeah, it'll be a really fun week. Another good challenge for flat downforce. Trying to do the best that you can with those tires.
Indeed. Thanks for coming in, Doug Sorrentino. And before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out today?
I should shout out Pierce, unfortunately, because I feel like I overslowed in the last couple corners there. I unfortunately got him to check up a bit too much, and it wasn't my intention there. So hopefully we'll have a good laugh about it.
Indeed. Well, fantastic race from you, and congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed Doug Sorrentino, the man, the machine, the almighty driver of that AMG Mercedes in the number 69. But before we get too carried away, ladies and gentlemen, we should have a little bit here with a message from our sponsors. A huge thank you to them. And indeed, with the first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, it's Carbliss. Our returning sponsor, Carbliss, offers a line of premium canned cocktails designed for drinkers who refuse to compromise on flavor or fitness goals. These ready-to-drink options featuring vodka, rum, and tequila bases for classic drinks like margaritas and mojitos are built on a simple promise: bold flavor with zero compromises. Every 200-ounce can is 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, and just 100 calories. Absolutely. It sounds delightful. Certainly, I would definitely enjoy one of those. Obviously, ladies and gentlemen, drink responsibly. And if you'd have some fun, drink some Carbliss. Pyro, I understand you've got Nixon Power.
Nixon Power, a new series sponsor, is headquartered in Brentwood, Tennessee, and focuses exclusively on the power generation marketplace. They provide industrial, residential, and marine generators, complemented by an aftermarket team that delivers premium technical services and parts support.
I gotta say, I gotta give this guy recognition. He's never been in a commentary booth other than for a driver interview, and ladies and gentlemen, he's killing this. So definitely show some support in the chat, and indeed, show some support for Moser Racing. Certainly one of the newer sim racing retailers to the scene, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly sim racing equipment suppliers, I think would be a better way of phrasing that. They didn't really exist when I first started, but they have come out in storm, and some of the gear absolutely phenomenal, particularly I'm thinking about if you want to do a bit of truck simulator as well. They're the only sim racing manufacturer, that'd probably be a better way to describe it, you actually have a truck wheel. Not only that, you can have like the turn signal sorts and the lights as well. I'm yet to see anybody else do that, but Moser Racing is a fast growing brand making high performance sim racing hardware for PC and console, VR, and flight simulation. Known for affordable, powerful direct drive wheelbases, modular wheels, and pedals, Moser offers a full automotive engineered ecosystem from beginner bundles to high-end setups, including durable, realistic equipment like steering wheels, digital dashes, and flight simulation gear.
Speed Designs, located in Phoenix, Arizona, specializes in custom helmet painting, providing unique, modern, and high-speed designs to drivers across the globe, including those in Formula One, IMSA, Pro Karting, NASCAR, and dirt track racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt if you've ever seen some of your favorite drivers, certainly in IMSA as well, this man probably painted their helmet. He is an incredibly talented artist, and by all means, let's give some love there for Darwin. But our title sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and without a doubt, my personal favorite, Podium One Racing is a Nashville, Tennessee-based builder of turnkey racing and flight simulator systems. They offer premium, ready-to-use rigs that integrate high-end components such as Fanatec, Acertec, and Cubic Motion systems to meet the needs of serious racers and professional training environments. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely if you're in Tennessee, go and check them out. But in the meantime, we are going to take a short break while we switch over here to the GT3 race. Thank you very much for watching, and by all means, stay tuned. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed, welcome back to the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship live here at Misano on Pit Road Productions. Indeed, my name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, not Rob Campbell, ladies and gentlemen. And indeed, we're joined making his debut here in the commentary booth, the one and only Mr. Cairo. And ladies and gentlemen, certainly a regular here on Pit Road Productions. But before we get too excited, let's take a look here at the championship standings. Cairo, I understand you've got GTD Pro.
In first place for the GTD Pro Series, we have Chris Crone with 154 points. Following close behind him in second is Alex Zart. And down in the list a little bit more, we've got Maxwell Budd and Javi Sierra. Manuel Sandoval in fifth and Pierce Fox in sixth. Harry Corcoran following just behind in seventh and Michael Pacheco behind him in eighth. Ninth place sees Joshua Wilford, followed by Emmett Fastrala in 10th. Sean O'Brien in 11th place with Mike Rose in 12th. Matt Jones in the lucky number 13th place and Kevin Rosario behind him in 14th. Taking up the back of the pack with 0 points each, unfortunate to see that, is Chris Brissetti in 5th and Roman Lee in 16th. It'd be really good to see them come into some of these races sometime soon.
Well, certainly that is indeed the battles going on for GTD Pro as we have a look at the GTD class, and indeed it is Kenneth Navarez currently leading the charge by about 9 points clear of Michael Clark. Ben Mellick takes third, 3 points behind, with the pressure here of William Palermo in fourth and Dustin Warren rounding out your top five. P6 joint tie, ladies and gentlemen, between Andrew Garome and Zeke Suter, who we just saw previously in the last race as well. Jack Minter, he's very close in the mix as well. Three drivers, ladies and gentlemen, tied here with 65 points. Jack Minter, Joshua Travis, and indeed Quinn Manders, all of them in the previous race as well. Absolutely fantastic battles going on. Indeed, as qualifying is currently underway. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, much to a surprise there, but Joshua Wilford currently leading the charge there. He's currently about 26 hundredths of a second clear of Bryce Crone.
2600s really isn't that much. I'm wondering to see if he's going to make another run at it and trying to extend that lead a little bit more. Yeah, a lot of very fast drivers today. It'll be very tight racing. I'm sure GT3s are always very good tight racing. And yeah, this is going to be a very good race.
Indeed, you can see here a couple of these drivers have had how about a bit of an update, ladies and gentlemen? You can see here we're going purely off surnames for the moment here, a little bit of a mixed field, as Williams is currently P1 for the GTD class as things get a little bit dicey here as qualifying comes to a close.
Well, with all these cars out on the field, yeah, wonder to see exactly how many cars exactly we have. It looks like we have quite a few more cars than we had in the GT4 and TCR race. It's going to be a very tight pack coming into turn one today, I'm sure. And yeah, a lot of these drivers are definitely very, very competitive. I've driven with many of these guys already. I can tell you from experience, they're very, very good racers. Some of them are quite aggressive and sorry, I shouldn't say aggressive. Assertive is a bit of a better word. Looking at you, Josh Wilford. Yeah, a lot of very good drivers, and it's going to be a very good race today.
Oh, it definitely is, as indeed qualifying is coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen. We certainly, it's been an interesting day here at Pit Road Productions, but right now, what can I say, ladies and gentlemen? But it's going to be an absolute belter. Certainly a few people here are going to be challenging for some more points, ladies and gentlemen. We're just trying to work out exactly who is who. We got Williams in here. Bear with me here. We'll figure out who it is. But certainly some interesting new drivers. Not only that, the field starting to expand, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. So far, we have 28 drivers here in the field.
28 driver car field is going to be a very good race for the GT3s for sure. It'd be great to see a few more people showing up to one of these races. I'd really like to see them get above 40 cars. That's where it starts to get quite hectic and you get battles literally everywhere. With how tight some of these guys drive, though, I'm sure we're going to get a good few battles.
Indeed, as Jay Williams has been identified, ladies and gentlemen, that is our missing driver. Certainly we did wonder exactly who was who. But right now, these guys are indeed getting ready to grid. Well, let's take a quick look here as we get this grid underway.
In first place, we have Joshua Wilford leading the GTD class. Beside him in second place is Bryce Crone. Row behind is Alex Zart and Bud. In fifth, we've got Zendoval and Fox beside him in sixth place. Jay Williams leading for the AM class, and the Kenneth right beside him, also in the AM class, in eighth place. Mastrala is in ninth with Greg Boyce right beside him. 11th, we see Sierra, and in 12th, Bressetti.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely fantastic stuff. As Jack Minter is going to be there in 13th, with Michael Pacheco in 14th. Andrew Grove takes 15th, with Kevin Rosario there in 16th. Jones is going to be there in 17th. In 18th, we've got the one and only Joshua Travis, I believe. Quinn Manders will be there in 19th, with Sean Phillips rounding out your top 20. Michael Palermo is going to be 21st with Michael Clark in 22nd. Kerry Corcoran, the seasoned gentleman he's going to be in 23rd with Suter in 24th.
Right behind them, Dustin Warren taking 25th place with Tommy Polte beside him in 26th. And for the final row of the grid, we have Drew Martin in 27th and CJ Conklin bringing up the rear.
Oh, indeed, definitely going to be a little bit of who's who here today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look here to see Joshua Wilford, who's currently going to be there on the outlap.
The first time doing this, I'm really not entirely sure exactly what I'm supposed to be talking about.
You're okay.
Lots of cars. Helping out as best I can, Reese being off doing who knows what. Hoping to hear back from him soon. Hope he's doing okay. Yeah, pace car is now heading out, and we're getting ready for the outlap to start this race.
Well, definitely, what would be your strategy here going into this race?
I've always been a big fan of the fuel saving strategy. I like to keep the car as light as possible, keep it as smooth as possible, and let the car basically do most of the work for me. I know a few of these drivers are a bit quicker, bit better in some of the corners than I am, so I feel a few of them are probably going to be doing pretty well with a combination of keeping it right at the limit in the corners as well as a bit of fuel saving. Yeah, we'll see if anybody decides to go for the full push strategy.
Yeah, definitely cold tires can be a thing. Certainly, I've seen myself and indeed yourself come a little bit of a cropper there on more than one occasion. But I have got cheers here in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, for Joshua Wilford. He's currently going to be leading the charge, ladies and gentlemen, as we are going to get ready to go underway. They're going pros and AMs fighting here in this championship, and indeed it's a fixed setup as well. It's definitely going to be a challenging set of circumstances, but indeed only the victorious will survive.
Indeed, and looking at the spread of cars, it's going to be a very good race. We've got Mustang and Mercedes, and I believe that's a Lamborghini in third. All very, very different cars, very different driving styles. It's going to make for a very interesting first lap.
It will indeed. Certainly, given the GT3 choice, I last saw you here in the Aston Martin. What would be your pick for this particular venue, do you think?
Just from the initial look at the track, I would say it's probably going to end up being the Aston Martin. The Aston Martin has very good acceleration out of the corners with those twin turbos on top of that big hulking V8. And I'm sure the Mustang as well is going to be a very good one given its rotation. Yeah, I think the Aston Martin would probably be my choice. It's a little bit harder on the rotation, but once you get it hooked in, it just takes you out there.
Well, certainly myself, definitely a British car fan, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to see if this is going to make your life a little bit easier. Look at that. We're in. That was the quickest bit of typing I've ever done, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, it turns out if you change your name in the league, it changes it for me as well, but that's all right. We've got it sorted, and I've got to say, good to see Joshua Wilford here, indeed, back at one of the newer circuits in the iRacing service as we are going to be getting ready to go underway. Chris Crone certainly giving him a good run for his money. Alex Zart, one of our camera drivers here today. We'll have to check to see if he is indeed still at 90 degrees, ladies and gentlemen. I guess if he was any more laid back, he'd be vertical, but right now, it's going to be Jay Williams who's going to be looking to try and apply some pressure. He's got the championship leader for the GTD class alongside him, ladies and gentlemen, as he's going to be battling out from the fourth row.
You know, I'm not much of one for leaning quite that far back. I tend to keep it with the GT3s, but here we go around the final corner, getting ready for the green flag, and we're going to be starting this race in just a moment. And away we go. Joshua Wolford taking the lead, taking a very handy lead, getting ahead of Chris Crone there, going single file for the most part. Got a couple cars coming in, double file. Oh, very close double file a little bit further back, and that's some very good tight racing we've got going on. We've got, there's that Greg Boyce coming up behind Sandoval there in the Porsche, and he's looking to make a few moves, but nope, it looks like he's just going to be filling some mirrors. Everybody started filing one after the other now. Everybody's finding their place, finding their space, and getting in it for the long haul.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Porsche of Jack Minter, who is literally falling down the order right now. Definitely not the race start he was looking for. The driver there of the 325. That's 2 races in a row with the cold tyres have indeed caught the better of him, as he is, for lack of better words, pebble dashing our friend Kerry Corcoran there. He's getting a little bit of a stone throw away, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like Andrew Garreau already trying to get into a little bit of a fight here with Michael Pacheco right ahead. You can see here the Acura is certainly applying a bit of pressure there. That's Matt Jones right behind, indeed the only Acura in the field. The Honda power plant, definitely a little bit different here. That V6, as he is indeed applying all of the pressure. But let's check in further up the field as Kenneth Nevaez has managed to make his way up to the lead there, taking it away from Jay Williams, and now leads the GTD class.
Oh, some very good racing here. I feel like there was probably a bit of commentator's curse there. I mentioned that they were all settling in, and as soon as I say that, we got a car going sideways. So sorry about that. I've got cars coming in side by side. Very good tight racing so far. It's all looking very good. Very clean so far. Nobody's actually been bumping out, pushing anybody around.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Almost 3 wide. 3 wide.
It is
going
3
in.
wide.
Oh. And they come out clean. How did they manage that? That was some very, very good driving.
I think there was a little bit of good luck and a little bit of good management involved in that. As you can see, the couple of the cars starting to get backed up. This is the battle here for P11 overall. Chris Bracetti here in the Corvette. And you can see the pressure, and that's the Ferrari of Greg Boyce. Around he goes, and there's a couple of casualties in there as well. Looks like Javi Sierra ended up getting caught in that as well. But realistically, Greg Boyce absolutely lurched off the track there, and I believe that is a... I thought it was a BMW there, a little bit further ahead, as indeed we have gone, ladies and gentlemen, we've gone full course caution.
Oh, full course caution is a bit of a new one for me. I wasn't actually expecting to see a full course caution here. Zippy, do we have a pace car coming out?
Yes, sir, we do. We have live race control here, ladies and gentlemen. You see there's the pace car in the pits. It's going to be leaving very, very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. This race control, the software, iRacing control, we actually have a show with them in March, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be another 3-hour endurance. By all means, check that out, and by all means, come along as well. I believe it's free to enter. Why not, ladies and gentlemen? It's going to be GT3s at Sebring, if I remember rightly. But full course caution has come underway, and I have a feeling it'd be this incident here that happened with Greg Boyce.
Yeah, very unfortunate to see that. Just it seemed to be like just the smallest of taps that sent him around. And yeah, when the car is loaded up like that, it doesn't take a whole lot, and especially having the engine in the middle of the car. Once that car starts going sideways, it's almost impossible to stop.
Yeah, definitely a little bit unlucky there, but I've got to say, loving the fact that we do indeed have live race control, so that's going to neutralize the race for the minute there, as Chris Froome currently holds the fastest lap, ladies and gentlemen, 138.74, and indeed, full course cautions, they really do add an extra dynamic, and certainly I can't think of any league here that we broadcast for that does indeed feature a live race stewarding, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly we used to have it with the Dirt Series, but to have it for road, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's frequently something that you see for ovals and dirt racing here in iRacing. Yeah, the full course caution for the road racing is definitely going to shake things up. I'm sure Joshua Wilford is not particularly happy about that one. He seemed to have a pretty good lead there with Chris Crone and Alex Zart taking along a little bit. But yeah, I think he's going to lose a little bit of that comfort zone, and he's going to have to work for it again.
It looks like a couple of these drivers are indeed waiting for the pace car to make its way past. And don't get me wrong, the pace car is a little bit like the Stig, ladies and gentlemen, here, not tied by indeed gravity or indeed any kind of force there. We're going to see it make its way to the front of the grid, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to say, very cool, calm and collected, as indeed it does take to the front. And Joshua Wilford's going to tuck him right behind. Ladies and gentlemen, absolutely phenomenal stuff here. Oh, this just got so much more exciting.
Really liking that livery that Joshua Wilford has got as well. The white around those headlights. It's reminding me a little bit of an Orca with the red and the blue. Just ties it all together. Looks very good.
Well, I certainly don't know which zoo he's gone on to, but certainly, obviously, there's a little bit of makeup on that one. SeaWorld, really whole load of animal rights things going on there. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason I'm in the booth, and that isn't it. But Pierce Fox now, you can see him, he's up there in P5. Let's try and pick out who the car charger is in the field right now. And I gotta be honest, usually it's this guy, Michael Clark. He's definitely pretty potent, but Drew Martin, he's currently up 8 spots overall on the day. Fair play to him. Definitely looking like a good potential run here from him out of the number 003 car.
I wouldn't be surprised if the exceptional braking performance of the Porsche has played a part in that. Yeah, a few cars just getting a little bit tight together, going a little sideways, going a little off track. Just, yeah, making some good positions, and he's made some very smart decisions so far today.
Yeah, definitely myself. Always been a big fan of race starts, ladies and gentlemen. It's the bit in the middle and the bit at the end I tend to struggle with, but certainly race starts is where I am the most potent. But Joshua Wilford there, he's going to be getting ready to go underway, and it looks like they're going to be doing another lap here behind the pace car. The lights are indeed still on, as we've got a little bit of love for the bumper cam. Maybe you might need a doggy bag for it with Joshua Wilford there, trying to keep a little bit of heat there in the Mustang's tires.
Yeah, these guys just got 2 laps in before they got the full course caution, and yeah, these tires, they typically take a good 2, sometimes 3 laps depending on the track, depending on the temperatures. So yeah, they've got a little bit of heat in the tires just barely, and now they're just trying to hold on to as much of that heat as they possibly can, not lose it. It's a tight balance though between keeping that heat and scrubbing off too much of the tread. Yeah, very good performance by Michael Clark and Kevin Rosario as well. Yeah, I was just looking at the livery that Kevin Rosario's got. I was racing at the ARA League just this Saturday morning, and I must say one of the drivers that was behind me had a very similar livery. It is incredibly difficult to see those stripes on the track when they're in your mirror. It can be a little bit off-putting when that car comes up all of a sudden out of nowhere, because it just blends right into the track so well. So I wonder if he's playing a little bit of mind games with his livery.
Thank you very much. I was on mute. We return. Thanks, Jake Gens there. You can see here, the BMW applying, or having a lot of pressure applied, and look right behind Amrit Pashala there, getting into the mix once again with Chris Passetti very much in the mix as well.
Oh, get some very tight side-by-side racing there. It looks like cars were getting a little bit messed up, and very lucky to not see a car going sideways on the track right there. We could have had another, and it looks like we do, in fact, have another full course yellow.
I gotta admit, I'm not quite sure why we got that one. I've got no incidents flagged, but we will take a look here. Just so I have a look back at the replay. But again, I got nothing. It looks clean.
Yeah, from what I understand of the system that they have in play, it has a bit of a predictive algorithm involved, and I think it was just a little bit of that bunching up that happened in that one corner that just triggered it. It said, hey, this is too much, guys, let's ease it back.
Yeah, definitely apologies for having myself muted there. I coughed and I was too much of a gentleman, but Jake Enns, thank you very much for catching that. You knew that I would not see it, and the Discord message definitely saved me. It's definitely been a rough day, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly missing my comrade Reese Gardner, but again, a huge thanks to Cairo Enns for stepping in. Again, let's have a quick look here through some of these camera drivers and see who else we've got here making their way to the big screen. Indeed, we've got Kerry Corcoran, which giving him a little bit of a shout out earlier, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a more seasoned gentleman that he is. Again, a defensive weapon, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely rocking a nice motion rig as well, looking very cool, calm, and collected there. He's going to be having a lot of fun as well. Who else have we got here in the field? We do have Wilton Palermo, ladies and gentlemen. Not seen him on a camera before. Let's take a quick look here, see what he's driving. He's going to be in one of the Porsches, ladies and gentlemen. Currently back there in P12 for GTD, and indeed P24 overall.
Good to see so many of the drivers having their driver cams on. We could certainly use a little bit more of that at the Almeida Racing Academy for sure. We've got a few more coming in, but we could always use more, and we've got plenty here, but I feel like we could have a whole lot more out as well. It'd be great to see head-to-heads and have the driver cams up side by side for some of that, but yeah, we're going to be going in for another couple of laps of this full course yellow yet. Cars are going to be getting slow. Everybody's going to be trying to keep their tires warm again, and yeah, we'll see who comes out on top this time around. Feel like it's probably going to end up being Wilfred Cronenzard taking the lead, taking the jump as they did in the previous restart, but you never know. Anything could happen.
Indeed, that Mustang making some absolutely beautiful noises there, and indeed Alex Zar in that Lamborghini, definitely another driver to keep an eye on, Cairo. He is pretty potent in that thing. He's had podiums before, and I believe he could definitely get podiums again. As we got welcome Resignated to the chat, ladies and gentlemen. That guy met me on a Wreckfest server, and fair to say, he's come by and visit. Absolutely fantastic to have you there. And don't get me wrong, he did indeed drive a Subaru, so please don't hold it against him. Indeed, I do believe he ended up putting a motor in it, like every person who's ever owned a Subaru. Just roasted my boss for getting one as well. It smelled of oil when I drove it, and at least that's what I'm sticking with, ladies and gentlemen. And encourages speeding tickets. It's a pretty cool car, but definitely going to be interesting to see this race get back underway. Chris Crone, definitely potent in his own right as well, giving Wilford a good run for his money, despite the fact that Joshua Wilford, about 2,500 IR more, is not held him back in that AMG Mercedes.
Yeah, Chris Crone's looking like he's a little bit more eager this time around. He's trying to match up with Wilford instead of staying clean behind him, trying to show him that, hey, you know what, I'm here, and you're not going anywhere without me, and I'm going to fight you to the end for this one.
Well, I've already got a bit of trash talking and talk. Ladies and gentlemen, he's trying to brag that he got a Mazda 3. That also is notoriously bad for having the engine blow up. So definitely it's gone from bad to worse, ladies and gentlemen. At least the Subaru had all-wheel drive. But we're looking at here, and then still the lights are on the safety car. We are not going to be going green just yet.
Yeah, it's always interesting if you buy a vehicle that has the word speed in it. It's usually something you got to watch out for.
What do you drive, Cairo?
I currently drive a 2014 Fusion with the 2-liter turbocharged engine. Unfortunately, not the standard, but hey, get what you get.
Well, one thing's for sure, ladies and gentlemen, that man is not going to be throwing any rocks driving a 2-liter Fusion automatic, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, the EcoBoost, my apologies there. Also, with its own fair share of, I just want to razz Cairo, ladies and gentlemen. I drive a Volvo, what can I say? When I crash it, at least I'm going to survive. But certainly some interesting choice of cars. Actually, we'd love to know what you guys are driving as well. By all means, let us know. Jake Enns, I have a feeling we've spoke before about what you drive. And indeed, the chat is like, now we've got Nadia Oh my gosh, Nadia Molienko, please forgive me if I got that wrong. We got them cheering Clark on in the chat. I'm going to make a good guess. That's this gentleman, Michael Clark.
Well, if we're going to be talking about cars that we drive, I should have mentioned the first car I ever owned. 2008 Chevy Cobalt SS with the 2.4 naturally aspirated. I must say, the sound of that engine, the transmission in the manual version of that, the clutch just feels, you feel absolutely everything. It was a fantastic car, and it's an absolute tank. It's just an unfortunate that ended up getting that one wrecked, but yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, otherwise described as a 4X in the real world, but we do have a Flex. I think this has got to be the fastest car we've heard so far in the chat today. 2010 Grand Caravan, ladies and gentlemen. That is a 3.6 litre V6. I believe they call it the Pentastar. If memory serves me rightly, I believe it's 283 horsepower and 370 foot-pound of torque. I used to sell them for a while. I do have to wonder, did you get the full stow and go package there? Because that would be the ultimate flex. Even the RT model with the fresh leather seats and indeed the heated wheel as well. And I believe the RCs had the black bezels in the lights as well. Don't get me wrong. If you're into a caravan, Jake is the man with the wifey of the show taking the 2010 Corolla manual, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, props there. That car will probably go forever. If you can't kill it, if he's going to try and wipe out the whole planet, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, the 2010 Corolla and cockroaches would be all that would remain.
Can confirm, I actually had the opportunity to drive that car just last week, I believe it was, and I can confirm that thing is not going to die anytime soon. It's still kicking pretty strong. Looks like the lights are off for the pace car as we're heading around right now, so it looks like this is going to be the final lap of the full course yellow, and then we're going to get the race underway once again.
Well, definitely looking forward to it, as indeed Jake ends. You just dropped the point. It's not the new enough caravan. That must have been 2011, the model year flipped. It's a 3.3. Now I have sympathy for you. I know exactly what that is, and every time I see one, it's got holes in it. Indeed, Ross, they do rot out here in Nova Scotia. We're going to put that conversation on hold as Joshua Wilford is getting ready to restart this race. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be an absolute belter as the way they go, the roar from the engines and indeed from the crowd as the GT3 goes back to the track. Ladies and gentlemen, already see Alex Zart there get into a battle. Maxwell Butt trying to apply a bit of pressure. We saw him in the GT4 just a moment ago. And indeed, Piers Fox getting into the action as well. We see it side by side here with Amrit Pastrana. Chris Passetti, though, trying to apply a bit of pressure here to Kenneth Navarez and in P7 overall.
Yeah, it looks like Kenneth didn't quite have the start that he was looking for. It looked to me like he dropped back a place or two, but getting a little bit squirrely in that Corvette. It's a very tricky car when it's on cold tires, and it looks like he made... and we have a car sideways. That is Michael Pacheco. Easy on the rejoin. Keeping it clean. Good. Very good.
Let's find out exactly what happened to Michael Pacheco. Looked like a little bit of cold tire syndrome. Got a bit of a tank slapper going. Thankfully able to keep hold of that. And the majority of the field making their way by. Goes to make the rejoin. Backs it up. And it's looking good, looking good. And Michael Clark definitely with a brown flag moment there. Thankfully, no contact. And indeed, he can continue. Greg Boyce, though, still trying to catch up there. He's about 6.5 seconds back. Further back in the field, though, Joshua Wilford, he's managed to pull away a 1.3 second lead over Chris Crone. And right now, Alex Zart very much getting pressure here from Maxwell Budd, but fighting for third place.
Yeah, I'm not sure Chris Crone had quite the right decision to start directly on Wilford's bumper at the start there, but and we've got another car sideways, and who was that? That was Pierce Fox? Oh, that is very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, definitely not what he had in mind. That's 2 races in a row there where he's had a little bit of a raw deal as Joshua Wilford has just gone and set the fastest lap of the race. Chris Crone, however, he's picked up a slowdown, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly we've seen a few drivers do that earlier on. Indeed, a little bit of carnage there. Pierce Fox sadly tumbling down through the order. He's now back there in 26th place and making his way down pit road. Definitely a little bit unfortunate. Kevin Rosario, he's there in the pits as well. We'll have to see what happened to him. Manuel Sandoval, something happened with him as well. And indeed, Kerry Corcoran as well, I had a feeling got into an incident. Multiple casualties here at this race restart.
It looks like 2 sets of eyes are not enough to cover all of this one here, Zippy. We've got Tommy Polte making his way past... Who is that making it past Tommy Polte?
Well, it looks like he's trying to get to a battle here with Jack Minter. Certainly, Minter definitely a little bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. Despite the 832 I rating, he indeed packs a punch much bigger. It very much is a David versus Clive there. As I see a little bit more smoke there. Who was that? I believe that may have been Zeke Suter, ladies and gentlemen. No, but Zeke's got a wicked paint. I'll give him that. Let's have a look here. Further back, I believe it was Jay Williams. Indeed it was, as he rejoins the track. And indeed, look at this now. Greg Boyce able to start catching up with the pack.
Oh yeah, so many cars going sideways, heading off track is definitely giving Boyce a good bit of space to catch up, and looks like he's going to be back in the fight pretty soon.
Well, here we have a freeway fight here between Kerry Corcoran, Michael Pacheco, and indeed Jay Williams. This is a battle going on for 22nd place overall as Corcoran manages to put that Porsche just ahead, as it looks like he's going to try and take the long way around the McLaren there. A little bit of door banging, but Kerry Corcoran holds on. You can see there Jay Williams starting to get a little bit optimistic right behind as well as they make their way towards the left-hander. Can Corcoran hold on? You can see there Pacheco applying all sorts of pressure. He's currently down 9 positions from the start. Look at the closing speed, ladies and gentlemen. He is absolutely pushing that McLaren, trying to find his way back through the field.
Oh yeah, the way he's coming up on the rear end of Kerry Corcoran there, you'd almost think that he was driving the Porsche, in fact. But no, it's just the McLaren, and he's just milking that lateral grip for all it's worth, and he's making it work. A little unfortunate for him that he lost that position, but he's not giving up anytime soon, and he's making a good hard run for it.
You can see here the different setups these guys are using. Kerry Corcoran going for the triple monitor effect. Michael Pacheco deciding that VR is what's going to work for him, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he is applying a good amount of pressure, but is it going to be enough? He's looking to try and find his way forward. As you see a flash from the BMW behind there, that's going to be Pierce Fox, ladies and gentlemen, trying to make his way back through.
Yeah, lots of cars starting to make up some positions here. A few of them are starting to find the grip in the tires and pushing it in and taking the position that they can, and we're starting to see some good battles. And Pierce,
that's Jay Williams. My apologies.
Pierce Fox was the one that was just off track there. I wonder what happened to him.
Yep, no, we saw him have a little bit of a detour further back. Well, look at this. So Greg Boyce already trying to make his way back through the field. He's got the McLaren ahead of Michael Pacheco. That is a battle for 24th place. Let's take a look a bit further forward, ladies and gentlemen, as Joshua Wilford has managed to accelerate a 4-second gap over Chris Crone. Absolutely phenomenal battle. But right now, we do indeed have a battle going on for 2nd place, ladies and gentlemen, as Chris Crone has got the likes of Alex Zara and Maxwell Budd applying a good amount of pressure. Kevin Narvaez, he's currently doing pretty good there. He's sat in P5 overall, up 3 spots from the start. And indeed, his next nearest competition will be this man, Andrew Grove, who's currently back there in P9 overall.
Yeah, Kenneth is doing very, very well. He's definitely finding where that Mercedes wants to be driven, and he's saying, yes, I'll take you there. And he's just pulling up an 11-second lead over Andrew Grove, and yeah, making every little bit of work out of that Mercedes just work for him that little bit more.
Indeed, he's going to have the likes of Amrit Pastrana applying a good amount of pressure very shortly, as indeed Sean Phillips is going out here with Jack Minter, and indeed it looks like we've got a freeway battle here. Drew Martin at the front of his pack as the round goes. Drew Martin, ladies and gentlemen, the Porsche getting a little bit of oversteer, and he's going to be there on the inside of the grass. Got to rejoin safely, ladies and gentlemen. See Michael Clark making his way by a huge field of cars there. That was Greg Boyce, going past as well. Definitely a little bit unfortunate, but already looks to try and make a move on the inside. Pacheco covers.
Oh, some very good tight racing here. It looks like some of these drivers, getting a little bouncy, and very good on him to keep that car clean. Yeah, a lot of these guys are starting to get a little bit antsy, and yeah, just the tiniest little tap when that car gets loaded up with the engine in the middle, that thing will wiggle and it'll just keep wiggling.
Well, that was Wilton Palermo taking a little bit of a stop there in the B station channel. Definitely a little bit unfortunate for him. Indeed, Drew Martin back on track, and indeed Kerry Corcoran running a little bit further back than where I expected to see him right now. But indeed, let's go and check in with some of these battles here as Javi Sierra is trying to get away from Manuel Sandoval.
Yeah, Manuel Sandoval's definitely putting a lot of pressure up on Javi Sierra here. Javi with the BMW is not exactly the best on the brakes. It's a very all-around good car, jack of all trades, not great at any one thing, but good at everything. But this Porsche, my goodness, he is using those brakes for all they're worth and pushing it in as hard as he can. He's keeping it very tight, and yeah, in just a few corners here, I'm sure he's going to be able to find a space to make a move.
Yeah, he's definitely applying a good amount of pressure here. Both of these Puerto Rican drivers are currently back here in 14th and 15th place. It's going to be Porsche versus BMW there as the Porsche gets incredibly close to the back here of that BMW. The 979 car definitely starting to feel the pressure here. Can Manuel Sandoval find his way past these gentlemen? He's down 10 positions at the start. Almost gets room to put a nose in, but Javi Sierra manages to shut the door. But is it going to be enough? The whole time he keeps fighting, Tommy Polte in that beautiful bright yellow Corvette is going to pull away.
Tommy Polte definitely taking every opportunity to take all the space he can, although it looks like Manuel is getting very close to that BMW behind, and he could be making a move at any moment coming up the inside. Oh, and there's a mistake by Javi Sierra in the BMW going wide out onto the curbing, letting that Porsche just float right on by.
Well, some bad news here for Tommy Polte. It looks like he's got a little bit too flirtatious there with the track limits. Indeed, he has a slowdown. He has to serve, and indeed, Manuel Sandoval is going to be able to capitalize on that. Is going to be enough there as Javi Sierra has picked up a black flag, ladies and gentlemen. He's going down pit road. Definitely a little bit unfortunate for him. That's going to be a drive-through penalty, and indeed, Manuel Sandoval makes his way past Tommy Polte.
We're only 25 minutes into this one, boys. You shouldn't be picking up black flags at this point. Come on.
Hey, you can't roast. I've seen you do it.
Oh, I know. But it's great to see this very close racing. There's a lot of action going on all over the track, and everybody's just pushing it for all of their worth. It's very good, very entertaining racing.
Oh, definitely. This is one of the drivers I said to keep an eye out for. Maxwell Budd has dropped back about 1.6 seconds off this lead pack, but Alex very much applying the pressure in that Lamborghini Poli. In my opinion, the best sounding GT3 car in the field. That beautiful V10. That absolutely, it's not just a sound, it's an emotion, ladies and gentlemen. Currently, that emotion is running highly strung, ladies and gentlemen, as he's currently here in P3, trying to find his way up to second. Joshua Wilford, however, pulling away a 5.5 second gap. Again, these drivers really pushing the track limits as Wilford goes even faster, ladies and gentlemen, with 132.87.
It seems like in that Ford of Joshua Wolford's that the tires don't really matter much. It's all about dropping that fuel, getting the car lighter, and he's just batting out fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. And Chris Corona and Alex Ard are just kind of keeping it in together with themselves, and they can't really keep up. So it's just going to be a battle between them and Maxwell Budd right behind.
Well, you can see this is the rear view camera, ladies and gentlemen, apparently of Michael Clark, ladies and gentlemen. As we flashed Michael Pacheco there for a second, not literally, but we did put him up on the screen. And you see there, that is Jay Williams right behind with, I believe, Quinn Manders looking to try and apply a bit of pressure as well in that blue McLaren. It's incredibly close there from Jay Williams, and indeed, he's going to hold on. Generally, very, very good racecraft, but is he going to be able to deliver here and manage to bring it home in P7? Indeed, you can see just a little bit further ahead, you got the Ferrari trying to get away.
So it looks like Michael Clark is getting some better rotation out of that Lamborghini than the BMW can get, and it almost looks like they're ending up taking different lines, but I think it's just a matter of the way that the grip gets managed. And we have car sideways, and who is that in the Corvette?
Well, sadly, that was Tommy Polte, ladies and gentlemen, definitely getting a little bit of an over-rotation here. Let's take a quick look at the replay. Certainly, it's very easily done here as the Corvette, often known to have a little bit of a twitch there when you apply a bit of power. Let's see what happened. Yep, a little bit of oversteer there, but definitely a great car in the iRacing sim myself. Big fan of the GTE version in particular, having run that at the Daytona 24-hour.
I definitely have to agree with you on that one, Zippy. I think the GTE version of the Corvette is the way to go in this sim. Yeah, unfortunate for Tommy Polte, but he's just got to keep that behind him, focus on what's ahead of him, and hunker down and get that car to the end at this point.
Speaking of getting the car to the end, Jay Williams is going to have to bring down pit road for a stop-and-go penalty, ladies and gentlemen. That is definitely going to catapult his chances further back there in the GTD class. He was P7 in class when he brought it in, and already Quinn Manders makes his way by. Dustin Moran makes his way by. Tommy Polte makes his way by. Indeed, an expensive accumulation of incident points. As let's check in here with Andrew Garove, who's currently getting into a battle here with Jack Minter yet again, and this is for P2 in class.
Yeah, Kenneth and Jack are doing a very good job here. They've got Andrew Garove just behind, and Sean Phillips not too terribly far behind him yet. All of these AM class drivers keeping up with the GTDs, and Well, I say keeping up. They're about 20 seconds back, but they've got a few GTD drivers sitting behind them, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of racecraft that's going to win the day for them.
This has been a driver who's had definitely some really good moves, trying to make his way back through the field. It is Manuel Sandoval, the Puerto Rican driver in the 420 Porsche machine. You can see there Sean Phillips in the Corvette in the number 49. It's going to be the next one on the chopping block, ladies and gentlemen, but can he get it done? It's 1,000 IR versus 3,500 IR, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a battle of the Titans. As you can see there, look at the braking, a little bit of a correction there, and what a send, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely fires it down the inside and makes the move.
That right there is what the Porsche is really good at, getting hard on the brakes, getting real deep, and just making it stick. And yeah, that Corvette just, it almost seemed like he didn't really see it coming, or maybe he just let it go. But yeah, it was very quick done, and one and done, and out they go.
Well, looks like Kenneth Navarez has just gone and board it down. Narvaez, sorry, has just gone and board it down pit lane. We're hoping that's for a scheduled stop, ladies and gentlemen. Meantime, though, Michael Pacheco looking to try and find his way past Michael Clark. Now, we know that Michael Clark has got a great race passing strategy, but how about the defense? Indeed, Pacheco, definitely no slouch himself, as Michael Clark will be looking to try and hold on. Indeed, interesting, actually, that Michael Clark is in the GTD class, and Pacheco has been pushed up into the pro class. So I have to verify that a little bit later on. These two guys are pretty similarly matched on track, but on pace, going to be interesting to see how it works out.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Clark was working very hard to keep that position, but nope, doesn't look like he's quite going to have what it takes to keep Michael Pacheco behind him. A little bit further back, we've actually got Drew Martin coming up behind Tommy Polte. And we'll see what he... Go ahead.
Oh, I know why. He's coming up behind Kerry Corcoran. I know why that is. Let's make this a little bit easier. There you go. He's coming up behind Kerry Corcoran, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, that makes a good amount of sense for it. Indeed, we got two different classes of race going on here. As Kerry Corcoran, the man, the gentleman, is going to have to try and hold off the Porsche. Indeed, it will be a Porsche versus Porsche battle, as indeed Kenneth Navarez has been the first of our drivers to make a scheduled pit stop.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably going to be coming in for the earliest possible pit stop that's available. We might be looking to get the undercut done on, or the overcut, I should say, on some of these other drivers. We'll see if the extra weight of the fuel is going to help or hurt him, and whether or not the clean air from lack of traffic is going to help.
Cool. And you can see here Alex Zart now still being able to stay right behind the rear wing of that AMG of Chris Krohn. They have to wonder as well, the Lamborghini, not notoriously known to be particularly good on fuel, ladies and gentlemen, has Alex Zart been able to save much here. As indeed, we've got about 8 minutes left to go with this race. It's been a tight battle so far. Zart, actually the top four, the few drivers that are in the same positions of where they started, other than Michael Pacheco, who's currently back there in 14th overall, indeed up one position within the class, however. But these four drivers, the order remains unchanged, as Zart really starting to lead on that Lamborghini and try and find his way up into P2.
Yeah, Joshua Williford has made quite the commanding lead. I'd almost wonder if the Podium 1 guys need to give him a handicap and put him in the Audi for the next season or something, because in that Ford, he's just a little bit too good, pulling that 7-second lead up ahead Chris Krohn and Alex Zart.
Yeah, indeed, he is last season's champion, ladies and gentlemen, and not without cause himself. Definitely a very potent driver, but Chris Krohn, he's been pretty much helpless in that AMG to the Lamborghini of Alex Zart. You always have to wonder here, are they going to make it to the end? I would expect them to have to make a pit stop for sure, but indeed, Alex Zart applying all of the pressure now. Further back, though, Manuel Sandoval still getting into some battles here. This time, Andrew Guerrero is going to be next on the chopping block. It's going to be a GTD versus a GTD Pro. Manuel being the Pro.
Yeah, it looks like Manuel's been making some very good moves here today. He's made it past a few different cars now, and yeah, he's not giving up it. Oh, very close, right on that bumper. Oh, it looks like was that Greg Boyce was doing a very good job of managing the momentum, and up the inside he goes, and he's around.
Yeah, that's a good job there, and it looks like Jack Minter is going to be the next one who's looking to try and make a move on here. He's going to be 6.5 seconds up the track, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Michael Clark, though, getting into a battle here with Quinn Manders. It's good to see Manders back here in that McLaren. Indeed, I love having me in McLaren here on track as he makes his way past Michael Clark.
Very good moves by Quinn Manders here. Yeah, looking at it looks like Clark might be fuel saving pretty extra hard right now. Again, you were mentioning the Lamborghini is not greatest on fuel, and it looks like it's really hurting for Clark right now.
Well, speaking of fuel, Joshua Wilpers brought it down pit road, as indeed as Alex Zart, Maxwell Bird, and Amrit Vestrala. This is interesting as well because Chris Krohn was pretty much providing a free tow here to the Lamborghini of Alex Zart, the number 17 machine the entire time. Chris Passetti as well, running in free air. So a couple of drivers going for the overcut, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, I've seen it actually more often than not be the more race-winning strategy, which would... By logic, you'd think it'd make more sense to actually shed fuel, have less weight, but indeed, I guess it's more than just that. It's a balance of the car, but Wilford, however, he's re-emerged, and he's re-emerged in traffic with Matt Jones right ahead.
That is definitely not what Joshua Wilford was looking for. He definitely does not want traffic slowing him up right now. He may have had a pretty solid 7-second lead, but that traffic can cause some serious problems and bring the fight right back in.
Well, despite the fact Matt Jones is under no obligation there to let him go by, he is on the same lap. This could work out very good for him because don't get me wrong, if he can tuck behind the rear wing of that Mustang, he can potentially find a little bit of extra pace there from the Acura. He's currently showing in P4, ladies and gentlemen, up 13 spots, which would indeed make him the hard charge with the field. Quite rightfully so, as Chris Krohn has also brought it down pit lane.
Yeah, Matt Jones has been doing a very good job. Very smart of him to let Josh Wilford go and get inside that slipstream. Michael Pacheco here is sitting right behind Joshua Travis. Looks like he's possibly going to be trying to make a move if he's not just going to be fuel saving and keeping it right to the end.
Well, let's welcome Alia to the chat as well. Ali, out and free, ladies and gentlemen. It makes me smile every time. I'm pretty sure I've seen you before. I think you came from the Formula V race we had, the F1200s. But right now, Michael Pacheco applying even more pressure. Chris Krohn only just making his way out of pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, that is quite a heavy pit there. But where is he going to be in comparison to Alex Zart? Zart just making his way by, and indeed, they're going to be side by side. And it looks like Zart's been able to do it on the pits. But look at this, though. Chris Krohn now going to have to be on the attack in the final 3 minutes of this race.
I'm sure Chris Krohn has probably got a bit of a healthier load of fuel than Zart does. Alex Zart is probably still going to be struggling to make it to the end. He's probably going to be fuel saving, and if he just opens up just a little bit too much, Chris Krohn is just going to be able to slip right on by, so he's going to have to be very careful.
Another driver who's really pushing, ladies and gentlemen, and is it looks like he's made it down pit road as well, is Manuel Sandoval. He's looking to try and make a recovery, but right now he's got Maxwell Budd just ahead of him. It's Porsche versus Porsche. Further back, you can see a little bit of lap traffic in the form of Drew Martin, but Dustin Warren now getting into a bit of a battle there, trying to find somewhere to go, and he is actually in the only Aston Martin in the field there. Despite that, gives a bit of a weave as he tries to make his way past Michael Clark. Now, Michael Clark yet to bring it down pit road. I have a feeling he's trying to stretch the legs here on this Lamborghini and make it to the end without a pit stop. Oh dear.
Very interesting to see that from the Lamborghini. It's not exactly a car that you'd expect would be able to manage a no-stop race with a 40-minute race in the GT3s, but he's trying to make it work, and we'll see if it pays off for him.
Yeah, definitely some interesting behavior for both himself and Dustin Warren. Seen a little bit of weaving around. I do have to wonder, are they going to try and limp it now? Dustin Warren's already been down, but I believe that was for a drive-through penalty, ladies and gentlemen. Potentially the Aston Martin trying to do it, as Chris Passetti has brought it down pit road. Meanwhile, Joshua Wilford still does indeed hold the lead of this race, albeit by less of a margin than he had before, about 4.7 seconds. Chris Krohn, though, falling back very slightly to the Lamborghini of Alex Zart. Further back, though, Manuel Sandoval still not able to find his way past Maxwell Budd.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these pit strategies are making for some very interesting racing. A lot of these cars are coming out not exactly where they were expecting to, and probably not even where they were hoping to. But yeah, everybody's gonna just have to make what they can of it, and yeah, see where the chips lie, and we'll find out at the end.
Okay, you can see the pass from Dustin Warren on Michael Clark, and I gotta say, Michael Clark definitely having some unusual behavior at that Lamborghini. I'm pretty sure he is indeed trying to limp it to the end. However, I can tell you from the timing screen right now, Matt Jones currently showing up an incredible 15 positions, ladies and gentlemen. He is yet to bring it down pit road. The next driver would be Joshua Travis as well. Michael Pacheco yet to bring it down pit road. With less than a minute left to go, I do have a feeling a couple of these drivers are indeed going to stretch it out as... yeah, he is definitely lifting.
Very interesting to see the Acura making its way up that far. I remember back when the car was first released, it was a little too good on fuel. And it almost seems like Matt Jones is trying to prove that, hey, it's still really good on fuel.
Well, that was the white flag, ladies and gentlemen. I got to say, if he pulls this off, absolutely power to him. Indeed, he is the highest placed driver yet to make a pit. I have a feeling he's going to be running on hopes and dreams, and right behind him, that's Alex Zart. You see there, puts it to the inside. Doesn't really put much of a fight here, but how's it going to work out for Chris Krohn as he also goes to go on the inside? A little bit of contact there from the Acura, and indeed, Matt Jones, hold on. He is very much not out of this run yet, and looking to try and maybe catch a little bit of a draft behind Joshua Wilford, however. He does indeed have a slowdown. He has to serve, but don't get me wrong, he's got about 7 seconds clear of Alex Zart.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any slowdowns that are at any track that's going to be 5 to 7 seconds, so I don't think Wilford's going to be sweating too hard with that one. But yeah, we have a very close race here. Oh yeah, that Acura does not want to give up an inch. He may be trying to fuel save, but it sure doesn't look like it. He's fighting for all he's got.
Well, indeed, he's definitely not out of the running yet. Fair play to you, Mr. Matt Jones. He is tangoing with people that are pretty potent, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, Chris Krohn and Alex are both almost double the I rating here, as Sutton's hand with Tommy Polte a little bit further back. I believe he might have just come out of the pits, but right now, we're looking here. This is your race leader, Joshua Wilford. He's had it in the bag since the start, ladies and gentlemen. A well-deserved win here for this previous champion, ladies and gentlemen, as he indeed brings that Mustang across the line. Alex out there getting it done on pit strategy. He pulled away a 1.2 second gap over Chris Krohn, and I gotta say, fair play to Matt Jones making it by. However, Chris Krohn with a black flag, ladies and gentlemen, and Manuel Cinderval. This may have actually promoted Matt Jones up into third overall. This may have worked out really well in his favor. Amrit Pastrana 7 tenths per second behind. What about Andrew Garov? He's still out there. Pierce Fox, though, looking into a battle here with himself and Jack Minter.
Yeah, very unfortunate to see those black flags come out right at the end there. Not entirely sure exactly where those popped up, but it's always going to be a big heartbreak to see that coming around the final corner.
Well, speaking of final corners, Wilton Palermo just made his way past Jay Williams as well, and it looks like another driver's picked up a black flag. Joshua Chavez, ladies and gentlemen, indeed for incident points as... that's an AMG. Whose is that now? Oh, that's right. Oh, dear, Tommy. Oh, that was matching, though. I'll give him that. Tommy Polte and Kerry Corcoran doing a little bit of gymnastics there. Actually, you know what? Sorry, fellas. That was so good. We're going to watch that again. That was beautifully synchronized, I might add.
Looked like they just kind of grabbed hands through the windows and decided, hey, let's go pirouette together.
That was beautifully choreographed, gentlemen. Oh, what can I say? An absolutely fantastic evening of racing, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, lots of good action as well. Let's go over the results here and then get ready for some driver interviews. Now, don't get me wrong, it was an absolute belter of a race, but let's see how it worked out here with Joshua Wilford taking the win. Alex Zart there in second. Pit strategy paid off for him with Matt Jones in third. Maxwell Budd, a good contender, but he ended up taking fourth with Greg Boyce in fifth. That's an incredible recovery there from that Ferrari. Amrit Pastrana takes fifth, with Quinn Manders actually taking the GTD win. Well done, sir. He's there in seventh overall, with Michael Pacheco in eighth. Dustin Warren took ninth, with Chris Krohn rounding out your top 10, thanks to that black flag.
Pierce Fox takes 11th place for the GTD Pros, with Jack Minter in the GTD class right behind him in 12th. Manuel Sandoval in the GTDs for 13th, or GTD Pros, I should say. Andrew Garov in the GTDs, followed by Sean Phillips in 15th and Wilton Palermo in 16th. Chris Brossetti takes 17th in the GTD Pro class, with Jay Williams in the GTD class and Michael Clark in 19th, and Kevin Rosario rounding out your top 20.
In 21st was Kerry Corcoran doing that beautiful synchronized move there with Tommy Poulty right at the end in 22nd. Joshua Travis also picked up a black flag near the end. That pushed him down to 23rd with Drew Martin in 24th. Kenneth Narvaez, I'm not quite sure what happened to him near the end, ladies and gentlemen. He was certainly looking pretty good earlier on. Dropped 16 places. He's down in 25th with Javi Sierra in 26th. Zeke Suter in 27th. And CJ Conklin operating race control. Well, I've got to say, that was a lot of fun, but I do understand you've been able to catch up with last season's champion and indeed your outright winner and indeed the GTD Pro winner, Joshua Wilford here with Cairo Ends.
Welcome to the booth, Joshua. Going into that race, coming across the double yellow full course cautions, how did that change up your strategy today?
It was very interesting, hey guys. I didn't realize that we had full course yellows now, and I mean, we did 1.5 laps, then the safety came out, tires went right back to ice cold, did a half a lap, and then again back to ice cold. So I think it was just I didn't even worry about the fuel. I was just worried about keeping the back tires warm because, as you guys probably know, the Mustang likes to have a smoke show out the slow corners. So mainly just chilling and just keeping the tires warm in the back specifically.
Well, whatever you did, it was definitely working for you. You pulled off a serious lead and came across with the race win. And yeah, we're headed out to Imola next week. What are you thinking going into next week's race?
Honestly, I don't know how the Mustang is going to go there with all the high downforce corners. So probably damage limitation, but I'm going to give it my best and hopefully win that one too.
Yeah, definitely the high downforce and some of those curbs are definitely going to be a bit of an issue for that Mustang of yours. Who would you say would be your biggest competition in next week's race?
Probably either Zart or Krone. Both of them are very fast and very talented drivers, and I hope to have a good race with them next week.
And I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic race indeed. Congratulations on the P1, and thank you for coming by.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that indeed was Joshua Wilford catching up there with the one and only Mr. Cairo Ends. But we have managed to get Alex Zart in here, driver of one of the few Lamborghinis in the field. Certainly, it looked like you had Chris Crone in your crosshairs for the majority of that, but able to get it done near the end. Tell us exactly what was going through your mind through the majority of that race.
Yeah, it was a tight race. I mean, up front, obviously, Josh took away in the beginning or on the second restart there, but it was a really fun race. Bryce and I were close together last race and again here today, and I saw Matt went for the no pit strategy, which I had considered getting into that second caution period, but I think I'd burned too much already, and yeah, I had to take a last second lunge at the end there to get by him on that final lap, and overall, just a really fun race.
Well, definitely a solid performance as well. Certainly the Lamborghini known to be a little bit of a handful on the limit. Tell us a little bit about yourself driving that car for a good couple of races now. How do you find it in comparison to the other GT3s?
Yeah, it's got a weird history, right? It always has been kind of had that history. And I think with the new tire models, it's tamed down a little bit, which has been exciting. And it's just a great car. I think car positioning is really important at Misano, and I think I was able to really kind of induce a lot of entry on the corner, and yeah, it was a great car. It's fit my driving style really well this past season, and looking forward to the rest of the season with it.
Well, certainly we're heading over to Imola for the next round. Indeed, the curving a little bit more aggressive there. How do you think the Lamborghini is going to bear over at such a track? And indeed, certainly I'm thinking of that chicane near the end, the right left, definitely the raised curve. Do you think the Lamborghini is going to be all right, or do you think you may indeed find yourself having a little bit more of a handful?
It's going to be tricky. You have to send it over that last chicane, and I think the rest of the corners will be great. Those high-speed corners through Imola, just sticking around in Italy. But yeah, that tricky chicane will be tough, but really looking forward to it. It'll be a nice challenge and a great group of guys out here racing, so it's always a good time.
Well, definitely fair play to you for being able to make the pit strategy work and indeed keep control of that Raging Bull Lamborghini, ladies and gentlemen. But Alex, before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out for today's performance?
Yeah, I'd love to shout out my wife, Melissa. She's probably watching upstairs, my friend Jeff, and then my mom if she's watching as well. So a lot of friends out here and family members. So thanks for all of you for watching. And then, of course, you guys on the call as well. Really appreciate it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm definitely going to support Alex in that one. And thank you indeed to his family and friends for watching, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, put this on your Facebook, share it around. We'd love to see even more of you in the chat. And definitely, we've got Jake Enzo making a suggestion. What's your nickname? Zart the Dars. I've got to admit, he may be onto something there.
I'll take it. I mean, hey, middle school is rough if you think about it too long there. But yeah, Zart Dart, I'll take it. Not too bad.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, he did manage to dart his way up to second place. That is a driver of the number 70 car, and indeed, second place overall, and for GTD Pro, Mr. Alex Zart.
Thank you much.
For our third interview of the night, we've got Quinn Manders in the booth. Quinn Manders, tell me, how did you change up your strategy when you were hit with that double course yellow?
I just took a gamble. During the first one, I was already debating if I wanted to go for a pit stop for fuel. And then once that second full course yellow hit, I kind of just committed to going for that strategy. I know a lot of the guys were debating about going on a one stop, but I don't have enough confidence in my ability to save a tank of fuel to do that. So I committed to pitting early. And obviously in the long run, it worked out for me.
It definitely seemed to work out for you from our end. There was a lot of traffic that you had to deal with. Tell me, how did you handle all of that?
I just played it cool. I really tried to keep a gap from the cars ahead of me so that if they did anything crazy, I had time to react to it, and it definitely worked out in my favor with that. Off of that restart, felt like every other corner there was a car spinning, so just kind of slowing down and giving myself time to lift off the throttle and react to wherever they might be rolling on the track kind of helped me stay out of those incidents and keep my damage down.
Well, it's a very good performance from you, making up 10 total positions, so you seem to be in very good control of that car, and you definitely performed quite well today, so congratulations on that. And before we let you go, is there anybody you would like to shout out?
Shout out to CJ, shout out to everybody putting this together. Also shout out to my parents watching. Hello everybody. They always love to watch these races, so I'm glad that I finally got the chance to speak to them over the TV instead of in person today.
Absolutely fantastic. I love it when family comes out to support their family, and yeah, very good stuff. Thank you, Quinn Manders.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was indeed Quinn Manders. And here we have one of the few drivers, ladies and gentlemen, who makes his way into the Aston Martin. I believe the only driver this season rocking that Aston Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Dustin Warren, able to get P2 here in the GTD class for Peasant Row Racing. Tell us a little bit of story about where the team name came from.
The team name comes from just a bunch of peasants, really. That's what we are. No, we're a bunch of friends that just we came together and joined a team. We all started on F1 a few years ago racing together, and then decided we actually wanted to get into actually simulating cars and driving real race cars as opposed to the F1 games. So yeah, that's I don't really know where the name came from exactly. I think we were just all chatting one night and trying to come up with different team names, and then that just kind of stuck with us.
Well, fair play to you. Peasant Row Racing it may be. It was a successful outing for yourselves, driver of the number 44. Now, if my memory serves me rightly, 44, would that be Lewis Hamilton's number by chance?
It would, yes. It's also my wife's favorite number, so that's really where it comes from for me. I'm more partial to Lando and Max these days. My son, actually my 3-year-old, he can't stop singing the Max Verstappen song. He just walks around the house singing Max Verstappen. But yeah, it really that is Lewis's number though, and he is one of the greats. So it's nice to pay homage in that way. I hadn't even thought about it that way though. Thanks for pointing that out.
Oh, no worries. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to adopt a child, I do believe Dustin Warren has one available. If anybody else out there is a Max Verstappen fan, certainly Lewis Hamilton, indeed Lando Norris. I believe Lando Norris being the man of the moment, indeed, in the Formula One circuit. But Dustin, certainly the Aston Martin, not a very popular choice here in the GT3 field. We've got a little bit of everything else, but tell us exactly what you found that made the car kind of unique and indeed maybe a little bit of a handful in comparison to the others.
I've really always had the Porsche, and it was actually the Daytona 24. We ran it in both the GTP. We won it in the GTP, but then we also had a GT3 that we ran with our Peasant Row Racing, and just getting the nuances of that car down for Daytona, it's been something that's kind of stuck with me, and I've finally adapted to it as opposed to the Porsche. So it's actually been a real challenge for me. I was happy to get, on the podium first race, actually bringing it out for this league. I've ran the Porsche the other 2 races this season, so it was nice to actually see the Aston stick and get a result with it.
Well, definitely good to see the Aston Martin being represented. But Dustin, before we let you go, we obviously saw you here in giving a little bit of a shout out there to your wife and indeed your son. Is there anybody else you'd like to shout out there for today's performance?
Just the family. I've actually got 3 boys. They're 8, 7, and 3. So Emmett, Colt, and Banks, and then also my wife Grace. So yeah, couldn't do any of this without them and them giving me the ability to actually practice and do this. But yeah, and then shout out to my boys at Peasant Row. If it wasn't for them pushing me every day, I wouldn't grow my rating, wouldn't be the person that I am. So yeah, shout out to them as well. And thank you very much for doing everything, Zippy. It's always a great podcast and something I love watching back every week. It's a joy to have you.
Well, it's definitely a pleasure to be here for the Podium 1 Fixed Series Championship. And a pleasure to not only that, to have Dustin Warren join us in the booth. In the 44, it's his wife's favorite number, ladies and gentlemen. Lewis Hamilton, in this occasion, was just a copycat. We'll put him in his place, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, fair play to him. And definitely a good reason for celebration indeed. Able to get that to P11 overall, up 14 spots on the day as well. You were the hard charger. So that is some extra bragging rights for yourself, your 3 sons, and indeed your wife as well. And if you've got a dog, by all means, shout them out as well. Dogs are family, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to the absolute legend, the only Aston Martin driver in the field is Mr. Dustin Warren. But thank you very much for joining us, and indeed enjoyed watching the broadcast here on Pit Road Productions. And if you haven't done it already, make sure you hit that like button and especially hit that subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We are aiming for 1,000 subs. I've made this joke before, but I'm going to make it again. Valentine's Day is coming up, and while I would appreciate, if you guys want to get me flowers, I'm flattered, but 1,000 subs would mean a lot more to me. By all means, that would be the best gift of all. But Dustin, we are going to let you go and get ready to close the show. But again, congratulations there on the 2nd place in class, and indeed P11 overall with the hard charger as well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, I've got to say, Cairo, it has been a very interesting evening here on Pit Road Productions. Definitely, we do send our concerns and indeed our love over to Reese Gardner, wondering where he is and what he's up to. But ladies and gentlemen, in the chat, let's give this man a huge round of applause. I want to see the chat blow up. Indeed, Cairo Ends literally was just chilling in the Discord chat. We knew who he was and said, please come in and help me. And he stepped up to it by all means. An absolute pleasure. And you know what? I think I would have him back again, ladies and gentlemen. I think he stepped up fantastically on short notice, and he really wrapped his hand around it really quickly. But Cairo, any closing thoughts from yourself as well?
Just a big thank you to Zippy for having me on the show. It really felt like getting thrown off the deep end a little bit, but seeing Reese not being here, it kind of felt like I was helping you out of the deep end. So in a way, I guess we kind of balanced each other out a little bit, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was my first time commentating, and it was very different to what I was really expecting. Yeah, struggling to come up with words at some points and struggling with questions, but hey, you're not really going to learn unless you do it, so here I am.
Definitely a good debut here for Cairo Ends. And what I was going to say, a fantastic round to do it at. The racing was absolutely phenomenal, especially in the GT3 class. But indeed, if you want to get involved in this league, ladies and gentlemen, you still can. We'd love to see even more of you coming out here. Certainly, I'm thinking of a couple of drivers in mind who would be great to see them come out indeed. And not only that, the prizes, ladies and gentlemen, the winners, there is a ballot, I believe, for a set of haptic pedals. This isn't just a normal set of pedals. This is some really fancy pedals, ladies and gentlemen. From somebody, we could do with somebody more sophisticated than me to explain just how awesome they are. But it's fair to say it's a little bit more than force feedback. But I've got to say, for now, thank you very much for watching here on Pit Road Productions. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in a week's time here at Imola.